Hello there. Top of the morning, the afternoon, and the evening to you, whomever you may be. Wherever you may be watching, looking, or listening, I want to welcome you to You Gonna Get These Sports, bruh. And it's your boy, Aunt Mo, Anthony Moore, for those of you who may not know for sure. And welcome to the network, kinfolk. Now, on this platform, it is really simple, man. We talk sports, we talk current events, we talk all of those things. But if you're here tonight in particular, I know why you're here. I know what you came here for. George Pickens, Jerry Jones, Sheduer Sanders. What does the Cowboys' actual outlook look like now? Has Rain Dakota Prescott, now say that with all due respect, has he earned his keep? We're going to get into that and a whole lot more on You Gonna Get These Sports, bruh. Now, with that being said, let's see if we already got some people that are in the chat, and we absolutely do. We got one of my favorite people. One of my favorite people. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. I got a special affinity for anybody who gonna get in the paint with me. You feel me? And we got Monty in the building. We got Miss Ladybug. She said, "Good evening, nephew. Waiting for tonight's topic." Now, Auntie, this show is You Gonna Get These Sports, bruh. And this is as we got football going on right now, actually. We got Monday Night Football going on. We got the Kansas City Chiefs playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I already see that they are not utilizing Travis Hunter the right way. They're taking him out of key and pivotal situations where his natural instinct, talent, and ability would put him in a position to win. But good evening to you. I appreciate you, as always, for tuning in, for sticking and staying. Now, with that being said, some of you may have seen the thumbnail, and it is quite simple. We talking. We starting out with Sheduer Sanders. Now, if you are not familiar, everybody knows what's going on with Sheduer Sanders, right? But as the NFL loves to do, as in popular culture, Sheduer Sanders, the Sanders family as a whole, are going to find a way to make it to the top of the news feed. So Sheduer Sanders was given the opportunity. No, he was not. Let me not even cap with you. He wasn't given the opportunity to become the number two player, the number two quarterback on the roster, and they asked him about it. And as many people have said, we have no earthly idea why they will be talking to the number three starter. Now, they played against the Minnesota Vikings in London. And they asked, "Hey, how do you feel about this? You probably should be the number two, right? Maybe not. You got Dylan Gabriel. There was a bunch of stuff in the offseason about them, what their relationship was like. If people really felt like Joe Flacco was supposed to be the guy, and Sheduer Sanders, he had a little something for y'all. So with that being said, let's check out the clip, and then we'll get back to it. You feel me? Oops. I done hit the wrong thing. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself. There we go.
Third quarterback. Vocally, anything to say?
I guess it's I guess one more. I guess what do you think? You have to show, show to the coaches just to have them have that belief in you that you can, be ready.
What can you say?
How much has Joe been important to both you and Dylan in terms of your guys' development to this point?
Y'all might as well.
Third quarterback.
Now, if we're looking at this clip, here's the reality. And we all know, if you know anything about sports, if you know anything about the Sanders family, they are a hot button topic. And to be honest with you, my immediate takeaway is Sheduer Sanders did what he was supposed to do right there, right? Now, I get the Ryan Clarks of the world, right? I get the Cam Newtons of the world. I get, in some capacities, the Rex Ryans of the world who was completely overdone in his response. Now, some say that this was a direct response to Rex Ryan telling him to shut up, sit in the front, and study, which give the implications that Sheduer Sanders, who is a very well-spoken, mild-mannered kid with a lot of confidence, and we already know how they feel about our confidence, but especially in a place like the NFL, where the expectation is for you to just shut up and fall in line, to be hungry when you get here. The reality is Sheduer Sanders doesn't have to play football. He wants to. There's a drive and a passion there to be great. And people want him to give the attaboy speech. They want him to stand up there and give the, man, I'm just glad to be a part of the team, and I just want to support in all capacities in any way possible. And I don't think it's anything wrong with that. But what I am saying is I believe that this response is just fine. See, because he's damned if he does and he's damned if he don't. When the reporters who, and this is why the need for new media is because reporters asked him, essentially, first of all, why are things being leaked about if he could have been drafted by the Ravens? He said that he wanted an opportunity to play right now. And I mean, if we're being honest, as hurt as Lamar Jackson can be, he probably will be playing right now, if we're being honest. But that's neither here nor there. I think he probably would have been able to get better treatment being able to play for the Baltimore Ravens. But overall, why are we asking him questions? Nobody cares about what the third quarterback on any roster in the NFL on 31 teams, what they think or feel about their playing time or what is right or what is owed to them. But yet we continue to put a microphone in front of Sheduer Sanders because it is a hot topic. It is hot button. It is what people want to see. Let's not forget who has the highest selling jersey in the NFL. A guy who has not touched the field. So you can make up whatever the idea is that you have about how you feel about him. But the reality is this. He matters. He matters to the NFL. He matters to that franchise. Even if you don't want him to matter, he won't go away. And so when the reporter asked him, how does he feel about being the third guy, even though Joe Flacco has been relegated to the bench in favor of Dillon Gabriel, who was drafted ahead of Sheduer Sanders. So by all means, he should be given the opportunity to start if they don't feel like Joe Flacco is giving them the ability to win in the NFL. But here's the issue. If Joe Flacco isn't good enough at this point to stay the starter of your team, and you found a way to keep 3 quarterbacks on this roster, why would you then relegate him down to being just a backup instead of letting Sheduer Sanders, if anything happens, if Dillon Gabriel gets hurt, to be given the ability and opportunity to come into that game and see what he does? The reality is this. Nobody believes that the Cleveland Browns are looking for an opportunity to start Sheduer Sanders, to give him an opportunity to show that he is good enough to play football in the NFL. If you did care about that, you would have given him the same reps and opportunities to play with guys who weren't going to get cut from the team the very next day. Now, answer me this. For a guy who showed somewhat promise in Sheduer Sanders in that first game, and we talked about it heavily on this show at one point, if he then turned around and played the most terrible game that he could have played given the circumstances, albeit that shouldn't matter, why is it that you just didn't cut Sheduer Sanders? Or do the jersey sales matter? Or do the attention still matter? Or do you know that he's actually still a quality quarterback in today's NFL, even as a rookie, even as a guy who who needs somewhat more of a little bit of development? So you're not kidding anybody by putting him on that roster, but you just keep showing that it's going to take a Hail Mary for Sheduer Sanders to get an opportunity to play in the NFL. But here's what you got to realize. Even in the way that he's moved and him being able to get a big check from his jersey sales and things of that nature, his likeness and all of those things being used in his favor, One thing about them tables, kinfolk, they sure enough gonna turn. And the same thing make you laugh or make you cry. Shout out to Dorothy Louise. That's where I learned that from. You are going to find yourself in a position where Dillon Gabriel is going to hit some lulls. He's 5'11". Let me tell you stats. 5'11", 205. He's not a tall guy. And he doesn't have, shout out to some guys that have played more forgot more football than I've ever watched, that said, hey, this guy, he doesn't have the mechanics or the skill set of some of the shorter quarterbacks that have excelled in the NFL. No disrespect to Dillon Gabriel. He actually played a very good game. And we will get to that stat line. But make no mistake about it, he has been afforded an opportunity in college and now playing for the Cleveland Browns to do what he's supposed to do as playing at a high level in the NFL. If we go back and look at how he started, Dillon Gabriel first started out at the University of Central Florida. Cool, no problem. Probably not displaying the ability to be a highly touted guy playing at Central Florida, but all the while, you have the ability to play well, and to move around in the portal, which he did. His next stop being at Oklahoma, where he was able to play a couple years. Cool. But what happened with the rich? They keep getting richer, and he ends up at the University of Oregon. So you talk about opportunities to step up in competition, but as well as in talent. He has made the best of all of his opportunities, and that's what you should do. Now, would we know who Sheduer Sanders was in a vacuum? We would. Let me just skip ahead and say, yes, we would know who he was, but would he have the acclaim if he didn't go with his father to Jackson State and then ultimately to Colorado? One will never know. But what we do know is that kid knows how to make lemonades from lemons any day. And he has showed the ability to do what needs to be done. And if we're being honest, if we look at that franchise, if we look at what Colorado is looking like now, you think they could benefit from a Sheduer Sanders being their quarterback there? They still struggle mightily in the trenches to have somebody to keep the quarterback upright and to put pressure on the opposing quarterback. Losing to TCU, it's a lot to digest here, but the reality is this kid has had a lot of opportunities that I only hope Sheduer Sanders gets the same opportunity. So if we look at his stat line, 19 of 33, 190 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, nor turnovers. Hey, as we've heard before, ball security is job security. So congratulations for having a fairly decent game. Now, that doesn't scream that of a guy who's got this howitzer of an arm that can move the ball down the field. But 33 attempts, 19 completions, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's a fairly formidable game for a guy playing his first live action in the NFL. Now, they lose late, and you can't put the blame on him. Now, what I can say is there was a lot of tip balls. There was a lot of things that speak to, hey, as the competition gets better or consistently stays that way, you're going to have the ability to push the ball down the field, to get the ball in the air so that, or even use your legs to run to create opportunities. Because standing in the pocket is cool, but in today's NFL, a quarterback has to have the ability to move the chains with his legs. Now, we know Dillon Gabriel has the ability to run, but maybe it was just nerves or just wanting to get settled in. He's good at, I said this on the first review of him in that first preseason game, he displays a good ability to be able to see target, hit targets, meaning like, hey, I'm going to get rid of this ball. Not going to waste a lot of time. I'm going to get out there. Hey, 1, 2, 3, the ball's being released. That's going to work in any quarterback's favor, especially a young one. Then it's just about, are you and your receivers on the same page? Are you going to get some help in the run game, which he did. You look at Quinshon Judkins, who is in full effect here. He could have got a lot more touches here. I don't know what they were doing. I have him in fantasy. That's a problem for me. I ended up losing by 3 points, but that's neither here nor there. But Quinshawn Junkins had quite a few carries, 110 yards on the ground. Everybody played their part for the most part, except for Jerry Jeudy. Listen, it might be time to bail on this experiment with Jerry Jeudy. He tends to drop a lot of balls, and he has led the league in that category. To be such a young player, but yet to be such a skilled player, and to have as many drops as Jerry Jeudy has had, we know how that started over in Denver. Didn't go well. What's the excuse now? You know, in today's NFL, these players have to execute, period. And so for that to not be the case, it's actually a little bit disappointing because I drafted this kid with the hopes that he was going to be able to make an impact. So, that is what it is. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments how you feel about Sheduer Sanders, how you feel about Dillon Gabriel. Are you impressed with the game? Did you believe that they had a legit chance to win that game? Because I'm not going to lie, it was close. But then you look at what the Minnesota Vikings were able to do. They were able to pull away in that game. You look at a guy like Carson Wentz? Carson Wentz is – shout out to all of the guys who have been able to revive their career here lately. It's amazing what you can do with some time and opportunity in any sport, right? You look at the Carson Wentzes, the Sam Darnolds in Seattle. If you look at Daniel Jones that played in New York and now he's playing it with the Colts. I mean, even a Geno Smith, comeback player of the year, was left for dead. High draft pick, had a lot of expectations. These guys are making the best of it in the NFL, and I am impressed by it. I cannot lie. You cannot tell me that any one of those particular guys outside of Geno, if you were telling me that they were going to have opportunity to make a resurgence of their career, I left Daniel Jones for dead after he left from New York. I thought that was a wise decision. But here's the reality. When you look at teams like the Jets, when you look at teams like the Giants, when you look at teams like the Browns, it's really where quarterbacks' careers go to die. But those guys have found a way to make the best out of their situations. And so overall, I say this before we move on to the next topic, as we get into Jerry Jones, the eccentric billionaire himself. I say this. Congratulations, Dillon Gabriel. The reality is you are on the highest stage there is. You're going to get your chance to pass or fail by your own merit. There will be no excuses. There will be no reason why you can't execute or continue to at least perform at this clip, because this is average performance for any quarterback in the NFL. You're going to win some games and you're going to lose some games with a stat line like what we've seen. To Sheduer Sanders, I just believe that you look to be – here's the reality about being successful. Here's the reality, and Ms. Reese comes showing up. She comes trouncing in here late, but we do appreciate you, Ms. Reese. Thank you so much. Appreciate you for showing up as always. Looking for Bruce Glass. Where you at, my boy? I ain't heard nothing from you, my boy. But when we look at Sheduer Sanders, I say this, my brother. It is only going to be so much that you're going to be able to do. The reality is this. You are going to have to be a professional. And being the type of man that you are, being raised by the type of man that you were raised by, you're not afforded the same opportunities and abilities to do the childish and immature things that other players are able to do. You can't sit out like T.O. and do chin-ups and sit-ups and lift weights and do armband workouts, resistance bands workouts in your driveway. You are cut from a different cloth. The expectation for you is a lot bit different. And I hope that you make the best of your opportunities, not just as a quarterback, but as a man in the NFL. I do hope to see you on the field and see you on the field soon. But don't let us down. That's all I got to say. As we move on, we got my boy Bruce Glass. I just need to know you was here, dog. It just do a little something to my heart, to my corazon, as my Hispanic brothers say. It do a little something to my corazon to know when you in here, dog. You know what I'm saying? Give us a bet we can't miss this upcoming week. My boy Bruce Glass is in the building. But with that being said, let's move right along here. Let's get Sheduer out of here. And I don't know if y'all saw this, but Jerry Jones is acting a plumb fool in these here streets these days. Yeah, Jerry said he got a message for all of you who got an issue with him celebrating his Cowboys getting the win. So with that being said, let's see what Jerry Jones had cooking up for us so lovely, so eloquently. Say, man. So let me tell you why. First of all, when I first saw this is Jerry Jones at MetLife Stadium in the suite interacting with the fans. And of course, we probably can guess that somebody flicked him off, flipped him the bird, so to speak, right? Why is this 90,000-year-old man engaging with people on this level? Now, I'll say this. It's so much easier to do when you're winning. When you can get a dub, it's perfectly fine to interact and engage with the crowd like that. I don't think Jerry is having that type of feel because he looked like he's feeling good. You know, he seemed like he was smelling the air a little smoother, a little clearer. You know what I'm saying? He had a little chutzpah on him. You know what I'm saying? A little chutzpah. Ms. Reese said that's hilarious. Listen, I literally did not see this clip until this morning, and I was in tears. Literally, I could not get. Oh, I'm like, where's the maturity? Like, where is the regalness? You know, of being a billion years old. I can't. I'm sorry. I don't want to say. I don't care what his real age is. Jerry is ancient. And for him to flip the bird, I just think you can't make Jerry have a bad day. You know what I'm saying? And so, I said, Jerry Jones, eccentric billionaire. I got a theory. I believe that Jerry Jones is Batman when he's not, when he's not, I said coaching because one could argue, when he's not GMing and being the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. He seems like he just fights crime in his off time. Like, Jerry is every bit of a character. Jerry's the type of owner that you may not like what he does, but you'll want to go hang out with Jerry any day of the week. You're gonna have a good time, as we can remember from quite a few years ago. Now, to Bruce Glass's support, I don't think they had a worse owner. Our owner couldn't be as worse as Snyder was, right? Snyder, there's harassment charges. He's walking around in his robe, making people feel uncomfortable, trying to get his Deshaun Watson on. So nobody's worse as him. Nobody got worse than the old school Redskin Commanders who had to deal with watching their franchise implode under Dan Snyder, right? But Jerry Jones is a character, and to be honest with you, I had nothing else to add. I just wanted to show y'all this man who we don't know how much longer he gonna be with us, but he finds a way to find joy. And he said, Bruce Wayne said, Commanders fans love Jerry. And that's his little underhanded compliment of saying that he's done something to make this franchise terrible. But let's not forget, Jerry was absolutely partnering with Snyder in some ways. Now mind you, a lot of that is a little convoluted because the reality is, hey, these guys, man, they got to stick together. They got to band together as brothers who own teams and make money together. And, everybody wants the best for their franchise. And so I'm not mad at it. I just would like to hope that, it's not as, that this is a league that has the Rooney rule, right? And I believe I've talked about this before, but the Rooney rule states essentially we have to have a certain amount of um I don't want to say colored folk, a certain amount of, help me out here, Bruce. What's the word I'm looking for? basically DEI hire. I have to have a certain amount of DEI candidates, like, people of color, you know, that I interview before I can actually hire a white person, essentially. And so, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I lost my train of thought. And I ain't ashamed because ain't nobody gonna fight me. I spent a long time trying to figure out what I was about to say, and then once I got there, it kind of crashed and burned. But basically, that's where I was going. Nobody, you hope that it's just not as good old boy as it appears to be. That the Rooney Rule has to be something that exists because you're not giving enough black and brown people the opportunity to be head coaches, to be GMs, and to be owners. If I'm not mistaken, there are some part owners now. When we look at limited owner, they made sure to let you know that that Magic Johnson is a limited owner or a limited partner in some capacity with the Washington Commanders. You get what I'm saying? Which, I don't care how you get a foot in the door. This isn't about DEI or any of that type of stuff. This is about really allowing qualified people to get into the ownership, the GM, all of those things, because we should be afforded those type of opportunities. It's really that simple. Not to make it super black, white, and all of that type of stuff, but some things, especially in America, really do come down to that type of situation. So, with that being said, keeping it cowboy, but getting into what this was actually supposed to be about, this whole situation. We got George Pickens, man. And the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I put this up here so that you can see what you actually were watching when we were talking about, when you looked at the thumbnail. But I do want to get into Rain Dakota Prescott. And that is, with all due respect, no disrespect intended to you, my brother, you're turning into a big dog in the NFL. And so I want to talk about what I see here, what the stats say, and then I want to give you a little precaution to say, hey, we might want to hit the brakes just a little bit before we start planning on doing, planning the parade route. Okay? Now there is some hope in here. So don't get it twisted. I am very, very, very excited about what I've been seeing from Rain Dakota Prescott. So without further ado, let me say that he is playing masterfully. All right? Not gonna lie to you. The only spot maybe where I could be disappointed, and it really isn't on him. Well, it's on him because he had 2 picks in that game, but the Chicago Bears game was a dud, but that was a whole team dud here. But anyway, let me get into some of these stats. Now, on the year, Dak Prescott, 121 completions out of 166 attempts, leaving him at 72.9, almost 73% completion rating. 10 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. He's second in total yards with 1,356. Visuals 5, my boy. Appreciate that. Visuals 5, my boy. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. C Mays in the building. Reese get number 1 tonight. I was running a little late. Nope, she did not. She was on the phone with Brittany. That's what I believe. She's on the phone with Brittany. So no, Auntie was number 1 in the building, actually. So my auntie was number 1. Then she came through, and then my boy Bruce Glass probably beat her in here. But we ain't jumping on her. But anyway, Dak Prescott. Let's look at some of these stats and numbers, stats and facts. So, hey, auntie, little cousin Bruce. You know what I'm saying? Y'all speak, man. Y'all say hey, because we are family. Anyway, number 1 offense in the NFL is your Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott, 10 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. He's number 2 in total yards at 1,356. Third in total QBR at 76.4. Totally, absolutely, MVP candidate at 5 games into the season. This is what I see from Rain Dakota Prescott. Put Rain Dakota Prescott in the chat. You feel me? Because we got to start putting some respect on this young man's name. He seems to have figured it out. If you remember the Romo twilight years, towards the end, where it was like, man, we're a running back away. We're a safety away. We're a D tackle away, right? When we were getting to the twilight years of what we maybe didn't know, but should have expected because Romo became to be very injured towards the tail end of his career. We started seeing Romo actually put it together, right? And that team that went 13-3 in the same preseason where Romo gets hurt against the Seattle Seahawks, we start to really figure that with a solid run game to kind of take away some of the gunslinger moments for Romo, that we had a legit opportunity. We had a legit opportunity to make some noise. And so that was on the cusp as well of losing to the Green Bay Packers yet again with Aaron Rodgers. Dez caught it. I don't care what you say. You can argue with your mama and your daddy about it and your granny if you feel away. I don't care. Dez caught it. How can you say that the rule becomes you have to have possession of the ball, a football move, and what was it like? Possession, a football move, and 3 steps or something like that. He did all of that. He did all of that. Y'all disrespected us. Y'all didn't want to see us be great. And we're going to stand on that hill till we die. It's almost like the Texas Rangers 2011. It's like, fam, bro, why didn't you just back up and catch the ball, bro? And we got a World Series a long time ago. But that's neither here nor there. We talking Cowboys. So Dak, Rain Dakota Prescott, absolutely abso-freaking-lutely is an MVP candidate. Now your Cowboys sit at 2-1. Put in the chat what your expectations are. Do you really believe that the Cowboys are contenders? Not just to make the playoffs. Playoffs? Not just to make the playoffs. But are we true contenders to make a run in the playoffs based off of what you've seen from Dak? Now, we all know that it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So that defense, although they've looked terrible at times, they fit the bill yesterday. So the offense and the defense are seeming to kind of start putting it together. And let's not forget, 4 out of 5 linemen were on the sideline. There was only one starter on that line yesterday. That is highly impressive coming from Rain Dakota Prescott. Let's also not forget that Cedarius Lamb, CD if you're nasty, did not play. He's still out with the high ankle sprain. You got Kevontae Turpin was out. I was wondering, and I never put 2 and 2 together. I couldn't figure out why he wasn't playing. You know what I'm saying? But turns out he was hurt or something. I still don't know why he didn't play, but I'm figuring it's because he was hurt. My boy said Dakota Prescott. Hey, and don't forget to smash that like button, family. Hey, man, we're a family over here, man. This a hard-working network. We just trying to build, you know what I'm saying? But the more y'all hit the like button, the more we get like-minded people in here to talk about what we talking about, and we are talking about the Dallas Cowboys for sure. So appreciate that from Randy C. Mays. Smash that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel, you feel me? Well, I don't care. They be saying don't tell y'all that, but listen, you have not because you ask not. Hit that subscribe button, man, and y'all come shop with us. Y'all come, do life with us over here. But this is what I will say, family. Let's move forward. And over here, my community is the Brain Trust. It's the Mind of a Man Network. It's the Brain Trust over here. Big trust. So this is what I will say and caution you. I caution you to put the brakes on. I want you to be happy. I want you to. It could have went another way. It really could have. This could have been so much worser. You know what I'm saying? It could have been so much worser. But what we've seen from Dak, what we've seen from Rain, Dakota, Prescott, is a guy who will not allow his team to fail. Down your best receiver, down your 4 best linemen, with a defense that is still working against you. They seem like they playing for the other team sometimes. I've never seen Trevon Diggs be so out of position. And then there was a report of something that I read today where he said he went to go talk to them about playing man, which tells me that he's probably not succeeding at playing coverage, playing in some type of zone that the defense may be based on, with Matt Eberflus as your defensive coordinator. I personally don't care, my boy. You got to figure this out. Because if this defense, and then we got, I think his name is Ravel, coming back from the knee injury. Now, he was here early, and he was still limping around. They said he hasn't suffered a setback. but he just ain't ready yet. And you want to be careful with the rookie corner. So here's what I say. Please temper yourself, but help is on the way. The only thing better than firepower is more firepower. So we can get a healthy CD back, and can Dak continue to play this way? Please tell me in the comment, and I want y'all to be honest with me. Do you foresee that Dak Prescott reign? And I wish that it would rain. Shout out to the Temptations. I wonder, do you believe that he can keep this up? Because we've seen this before, 2023. We've seen him look like an MVP of this league. He's top 5 in all major categories as we speak. Can he keep it up? An injury sat him down for a few weeks. I believe it was his calf. And then that just derailed the momentum that he had moving forward. So I am just hoping, I'm wishing, and I'm praying that the Dallas Cowboys will continue to shock the world. Real Muhammad Ali style. So the Jets were a winless team. I don't want to take away from the schedule because you play to win the game. That's what I want to say. You play against who your schedule dictates. It is what it is. Nobody said for the Jets to be terrible. And I know it's got to be disappointing because I work with a Jets fan. Aaron Glenn was supposed to be the savior. And mind you, they might just got to get some guys out of that building that don't perform. But overall, we went in there and we punched them in the mouth. Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Shout out to Mike Tyson. And so it is what it is, kinfolk. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to go and look at the entire schedule again. And I just want to start because I could argue. If I'm looking at this, I could argue, but the Cowboys should only really have one loss. Listen, you're going to get these sports, the most biased, unbiased show you ever watch in your life concerning sports. What I like, you're going to know beyond a shadow of a doubt. What I don't like, you're going to know it ain't going to be no guessing games. So I've been bamboozled, hoodwinked, led astray, run amok by the Cowboys umpteenth million times. I even got videos on YouTube, on my old YouTube, where I said I was done with them. I've made the declarations, kinfolk, but just keep calling me, man. It just keep calling me. You know what I'm saying? It's just something about them, folk. I don't know. It's just the silver and blue in my veins, dog. I don't know what to say, dog. But if we look at the beginning of the season, I could argue that you are one Jalen Hurts touchdown run away from winning that game against the defending Super Bowl champions. I could legitimately argue that if you just stop one of the freaking touchdown runs, I still, to this day, cannot figure out why you don't have a spy on Jalen Hurts for 85% of the game. When it's 3rd and 4th and short, intermediate, you look for him to have. This is the thing about the Philadelphia Eagles. This is the thing about Jalen Hurts that makes them so effective. It's also the thing about Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs that makes them so effective. They are the best at situational football. For those of you who know sports, who know football, who understand how important it was when we had the redhead Jason Garrett here that was terrible, when we had Wade Phillips here that was terrible at using timeouts and all of those type of things, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles are the most efficient, the most effective at knowing when to run, when to throw in the tush push, when to call the play that nobody's expecting, you know, when to use the run to dictate the pass, and vice versa. Jalen Hurts knows when your defense is most susceptible to him taking off and running. And in 2 pivotal situations, we gave up the ghost, kinfolk. That's what we can no longer have. The Dallas Cowboys, please. We got Jaden coming twice. We're going to face Jackson Dart. And then we're going to have Jalen come in here again. They coming to us this time. We have to find a way to limit the effectiveness of those quarterbacks getting in the end zone, because that will be the deciding factor with this offense playing the way it is, the number 1 ranked offense in all of the NFL. Now, we know Joe Burrow hurt. We know that they would have had something to say about it. But we are who we are. And right now, we are the most explosive and effective offense in all of football. And that is a shock to everyone. So, Philadelphia Eagles, we are one touchdown away, one Jalen Hurts specifically touchdown away from winning that game. Let's never forget, when we go back and look at Saquon Barkley, in that game, he was held to his lowest output in the last 17 games. So not bad for a team that couldn't stop the run. You stopped the most effective and best runner in the game today in Saquon Barkley, hold him to 60 yards. Then we play against the Giants. Now, in the same breath as I could argue we should be 4-1, we could be 4-1. I could argue that we could probably be 3-1. Because let's never forget that old Russ, the little engine that could, old Russell Wilson, and the tryhards of New York, they took us to the brink. We had to do theatrics late to get back in that game and actually win. There's no way you're going to convince me that the same guy who just got replaced, old Russ, let Russ cook. Remember, that was a whole thing. How that guy was able to almost beat the Dallas Cowboys at home. That's embarrassing. But I'm not here to argue with you, kinfolk. A win is a win is a win, and we'll take a win any day of the week. Okay, then we got the Bears. If it's all the same to you and I, when I think about it, I can only attribute that to one person, and that is their head coach. The guy, Big Ben. I'm just going to call him Big Ben because he knows how to call plays, and he knows how to exploit a team like the Dallas Cowboys. I'm just calling a spade here, kinfolk. Don't get offended. Don't look me upside my head. I'm just telling you how I see it. I wouldn't be who I am if I don't speak with the integrity of a journalist. But Ben Johnson absolutely knew how to exploit this defense. From every trick play to utilizing Caleb a certain way, going deep, all of those things. He knew how to do that. So the main reason, it's not that Caleb's a bad quarterback. It's not that their run game is so spectacular. Ben Johnson knows how to beat the Cowboys. The last time that the Lions played the Cowboys, it was a drubbing. 44-6 or something like that, I think it was. They beat the living breaks off us. And that was payback for the last game where we screwed over the Lions, where we probably should have lost. Not to mention that playoff game, but we moving on. So it is what it is. The Bears beat the brakes off us, and it just is what it is. Now the Packers, the Green Bay Packers. Now, if I'm being honest, given Dak Prescott's last game there with the 2 picks and just not a good showing for anybody that day, this is a game where I expected for the Dallas Cowboys to roll over and give it up like a cheap date. But Dak Prescott, this was his welcome to the 2005 NFL season. Because he effectively, if you look at the last show that I did where I talked about this, he effectively outplayed Jordan Love, who they still have as a slightly bigger favorite as the MVP. Now, that is probably going to change because Jordan is cool, but he ain't playing to the clip of how we see Rain Dakota playing. So, we know how that game ends. The half ends crazy. The Cowboys score twice in the last 40 seconds. The game is pretty back and forth. Every time that Jordan Love showed up, Rain Dakota Prescott showed back up to answer that bell. There it is. I hope y'all can hear that bell. Let me know if y'all can hear this bell. I hope y'all can hear that because I'm going to be disappointed if you can't. But anyway, Rain Dakota Prescott shows up to answer the bell every single time. And I'm sitting at the house. I'm on pins and needles because I'm expecting for this to end as a game where Dak's going to end up throwing a pick. He going to fumble. We going to get behind. He going to try hard. And then we going to lose. Brandon Aguero. Let me see. This is a new guy to the network. Let me see what my guy talking about. Welcome, Brandon Aguero. Hey, man, for those of y'all who've been rocking, man, y'all show some love to Brandon Aguero for popping up in the chat, man. If Pickens is a problem, then for sure I want him. Why wouldn't you try to keep the guys who really contribute to your team? Now, we haven't got to that part yet, but you are cooking. You are absolutely cooking. You know what? Just because you said that, let's go ahead and get into George Pickens. Let's get into George Pickens. So for those of you who've seen the title and you know what the stigma was. There was a stigma surrounding George Pickens. And what was the stigma? That he was a diva. That, first of all, they tried to talk about the type of receiver that he was. They said that he couldn't run the deep route. He was only a deep ball guy. He's a big body possession receiver. He's not a route tree guy. But this is what we forget. Who are the Pittsburgh Steelers? They're a run-first team, a defensive-oriented team, coached by Mike Tomlin, who is one of the GOATs. Let's be real. We know who this guy is. He doesn't have a losing season in the NFL. But who was their quarterback? They had Pickett, who got traded from the Cleveland Browns after they traded him for a fourth-round pick and then traded him away for a fourth-round pick or a fifth-round pick because whatever, Sheduer was a fifth-round pick. Whatever it was, it washed itself out. So Kenny Pickett was the quarterback over there. That was a disaster. Then you got Russ. That didn't look so hot. And then who's the kid? Who's the kid that plays for the Jets that we just beat? So there was him and it was Randy, don't start that. But you got what is the kid's name? Chat, help me out here. Help me out. Who's the kid that's the actual quarterback for the Jets? I mean, we just beat the brakes off of him. And I actually like the kid, but the problem is you can't it's hard for you to be a savior of a franchise that doesn't know how to put help around your quarterback. Because when he played at Justin Fields, thank you, Brandon. So when you got Justin Fields, who played over there, and they didn't want to hitch their wagon to Justin Fields. For some reason, there are certain coaches that want to bet the house. Justin Fields, thank you, Bruce Glass. And thank you, Brandon and Justin. But yeah, there's certain coaches that will only ever bank with they'll only bank with the veterans. And so that's exactly what happened. They never wanted to hitch their wagon to Justin Fields. So they went with Russ, and then Russ we trust. And listen, cool. It's got its ups and its downs. But when you look at what Justin Fields contributed for that season, I believe it's the same type of effect. It's the same type of effect that you could say that a Jackson Dart is having. And that guy was successfully benched. Russell Wilson was successfully benched for Jackson Dart. And so when we look, man, my boy Randy, this dude here, man, because he's sending me stuff while I'm live on stream, y'all. Shame on you for that, dog. But no, so when you look at what George Pickens had to work with, I mean, come on, we seen the infamous catch in practice against the one kid. I mean, all he's done is make plays. He was spectacular at Georgia. He had the knee injury, came back and was spectacular again. I mean, he was drafted high for a reason. And so there was no way I was thinking the Cowboys were going to pick up George Pickens. Let's be clear here. Jerry, who successfully has made some of the worst offseason picks that you could ever make, and picking up a George Pickens, I'm like, oh, this has the potential to be good. But there was also the threat of, what if what they're saying about him in the media is true? That George Pickens is this diva and he's complaining and he's throwing fits and he's, all of these things. Let me ask y'all a question. What have we heard about George Pickens so far? Anybody? Can anybody tell me what we have heard from George Pickens thus far? If anything. I'm waiting. Can y'all hear these sound effects? Please let me know. Because I'm waiting for the chat to tell me something while I got these crickets chirping that I hope you can hear. We've heard nothing. Zero, zip, zilch, nada, zipple, nothing. Because this is the reality. In today's NFL, these guys know how to get from out of there. Period. Let me see what Brandon's talking about. Brandon said, I think Jerry can make a really good splash on the defensive line, and Pickens, he is a dog and humble guy. See now, Brandon, you talking my language. And I'm not one to think that we're done retooling this defense. I still think that there's some moves to be made here, honestly. And let me tell you where I would start. With a team that we just got done playing. Who knows if they're about to blow that team up? We don't know if Aaron is going to be given a fair shot to actually bring that team up to be formidable with the Justin Fields at quarterback. So what would I do? I would start by going and getting Quinnen Williams. Why not? With one of those first round picks, low key. So I don't know how you'll feel about this, but I don't know if it would take that. What if we actually take a guy like Trevon Diggs and ship him over there? Do you even think that's a good trade? Trevon Diggs, a corner, because I'm sorry, y'all cannot tell me that we've seen something from him that makes him really worth the money that we spent. And I'm banking that when Ravel comes back, the rookie that we drafted in like the second, third round, whichever one that was, if he's any resemblance of being healthy, you can't make me believe that he won't play at least as good as him or maybe a little bit better. Only because I think the injuries are starting to catch up. I just believe that the injuries are starting to catch up with him. He was never technically sound. He was an all athlete, all skill, all speed, all of that. All the measurables were off the charts. It was never about his skill set. He had instinct and talent and athleticism. So for me, that's what I believe. Now, hold on now, y'all. C. Mason came through with the super chat, dog. I really hope y'all can hear this. I hope y'all can hear that, dog. If y'all can't hear these sound effects, I'm so disappointed. I'm not gonna lie to you. Super chat, he said, excellent content. Let's support upgrades to the studio. Absolutely, and I appreciate that, man, for my bro, the bro Hamski with the super chat. You know what I'm saying? I gotta find that. I gotta find that one. You know what I'm saying? But if not, hey man, hopefully I'll fix it for y'all can hear these sounds on the next go around. But man, much appreciated from Randy C. Mays with the $4.99 super chat for sure. So my boy Brandon said, I would hear him out. I would hear me out, and I would hear me out. I would hear me. Okay, I would. Okay, I got it. I would hear me out. And Bland have been inconsistent. I'm just saying, don't come for me. I'd be okay with that. Oh, perfect. Thank you. So you say you would hear him. So can you retype that, bruh? Because I ain't gonna lie, I'm struggling to hear exactly what you're saying. But overall, I know you're saying him and Bland have been inconsistent, and I agree. So that's why overall, I would be open. You get what I'm saying? Now, I don't want to give away all my corners, don't get me wrong, but I think you'll be able to get the best bang for your buck and not have to get rid of a draft pick, possibly. And maybe, like you're saying, low-end first-round guy if I give up somebody like Trevon. You know, maybe they want to pair him with Sauce Gardner, you know what I'm saying? Because at this point, they'll avoid Sauce and go to the other side, no problem. And if I'm really being honest, Sauce ain't even looking too hot. So All I'm saying is there are opportunities to make this team better on the defense immediately. Don't wait till the deadline. If they are over, why not go ahead and let them try to see about getting them a quarterback? Because who knows if they really believe in Justin Fields like that. I'm telling you, going over there, getting one of those, because a lot of these guys are just disgruntled. They are very unhappy with the situation. It's not that they're not good players anymore. Quinnen Williams, put him with Clark, the guy we just got. We become an instant run stopper. An instant run stopper. And we all know if you can get pressure on the quarterback, it's going to make your corners look better. Tell me I'm lying. Because right now, the corner's playing like this. Ms. Reese said, we can hear the sounds. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, Brandon said, I hear you out. Him and Bland have been inconsistent. I think I would let the rookie step up. Exactly, Brandon. That's what I'm talking about. Let them rookies get a chance. I mean, the guy Houston, he's been balling out. The Ezra Raku, he's been balling out. That was one of our draft picks. Give these guys an opportunity in playing time. Nealon was balling. Fowler ain't been looking too hot. Well, Diggy or Wansu Diggy Zuu, whatever his name is, he been balling out. So that's what I'm saying. You get CeeDee Lamb, you pair him with Pickens. Ferguson just balled out yesterday. He actually was part of the main reason why my fantasy team ended up losing by 3 points. I'm pissed about it because if all I had to do was sit Jerry Jeudy weak tail down and put Trey, the guy, one of the receivers for the Raiders, I win by 2 or 3 points myself. But that's neither here nor there. We're not talking fantasy today. It is what it is. But my point is, I'm firmly believing that it's not over for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm believing that George Pickens, and let me go to some comments here. See, because if you're a real true problem, then it's gonna surface, right? My argument has been and will continue to be that they already believed that Micah Parsons was not that, like, and let me say this, and please don't think that I'm being disrespectful. I'm just calling it like I see it. Micah Parsons is explosive. He's talented. He's got speed. He's a flash in the pan guy. But 1 sack in 4 playoff appearances, and it was when we were up 17 against a 8-9 or 7-9 Tampa Bay Buccaneers team where Tom Brady was clearly done, and that team had lost all the flash and pizzazz that they were possibly going to have. I can't help but believe that that's not impressive to y'all. We got beat by 40 against the Green Bay Packers. He was nowhere to be found. The other 2 games were against, you guessed it, the San Francisco 49ers, and they drubbed us. And the last game, the defense actually kept us in the game, but he had no sacks, no force, no tackles for loss. The defense kept us in the game. Actually, you could blame Dak for that game. But overall, man, we need impact players to make impact. And against playoff teams, against the actual teams in the playoffs, Dak barely showed up, but Micah Parsons definitely didn't show up. So it is my belief that it was twofold. I truly believe that Micah Parsons probably didn't believe that the Cowboys were capable of putting a team together to win. That's number one. The second thing is, I don't believe that they ever believed that Micah Parsons was the guy to hitch his wagon to. He is, and let me be clear about this, chat, he is the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. You see what he's been doing over there? Do you think it's justified? That game against the Lions, we got that cheap sack late in the game. It didn't mean anything. They said that he got a sack against Dak Prescott in that game, but it wasn't for a loss. So you can't get me to believe that they schemed him out of the game successfully. Brian Schottenheimer is doing an amazing, efficient, explosive way of calling this offense. Micah Parsons wouldn't be making that much of a difference, guys. I'm sorry. The game he would have mattered was against the New York Giants, and that's because they're not any good. Listen, we have to look at the history to see where we're going sometimes. Micah Parsons ain't that guy. Talented, yes, but not that guy. You know who is that guy? George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb. What's his name? I always say Cavante, but I think it's Javante Williams. He's that guy. You seen how that dude's toting the pill? He's one of the better running backs in the NFL. Coming from Carolina. Stop playing with me. We still got Jaden Blue down there too. Let's not play around here. All right, let's see what my boy says before we get to this comment. Hey, I said one Marquise Bell, Sam Williams, and a few others on that team are hidden gems, but they need playing time. So Marquise wasn't making the best of his opportunities early. Like, I think he's been on the team for like 3 years now, something like that. Those first couple of years, he couldn't get off special teams. Sam Williams, I agree with you. But a lot of these guys, you got to think, we also lost that. I can't think his name. I'm so mad. But who's the guy we lost to the knee injury early last year that was balling at linebacker, and he ended up coming back. And apparently we lost him the last 2 years to a knee injury, and he's got some hope of coming back. All I'm saying is, all is not lost with the Dallas Cowboys and that defense. But we are going to need Dak Prescott to keep this at least as the number one offense where we're actually putting points up on the board. Because, see, for any of you who have been Cowboys fans for long enough, you'll know what I'm saying. For years, we were the number one offense because of yards, not because of points. So if we can make it make sense, then I think we'll be fine. But back to George Pickens. So this is a little AI help here. You know what I'm saying? They gave me the gist of what I needed. I couldn't find the actual quote, but Jerry said, it says that Leafu's cool. But didn't he cost us a penalty late in that game? Is that number 35? Because if it is, he's the one that got that penalty for hitting that guy late. And I was like, this is why the Cowboys lose games against the Packers. This is why we lose. Because they do dumb stuff like that. So if the Cowboys could just stop being boneheads, we would actually get a lot further. But Leafu is a good young guy too as well. But this is going to give us an overview of Jerry talking about re-signing George Pickens. Jerry Jones spoke highly of George Pickens, fit with the Cowboys. With Pickens fit with the Cowboys following the Packers game, calling him an exemplary teammate. Talk about putting a little sham and cheese on top of it. Look, gawk. Talking about him being an exemplary teammate and praising his work preparation and on-field results, particularly after C.D. Lamb's injury. Jones also strongly hinted that the Cowboys would work to extend Pickens' contract, noting that the financial situation has improved due to the previous team decisions, implying that Micah Parsons' trade opened the door to allocate funds to other players. Well, no duh. And here's the no duh to it. What we do know is that the day after Micah Parsons get traded, who do they extend? Deron Bland. 4 years, $90-something million. So all I see is a GM and owner who said, I don't believe that Micah Parsons is worth the guaranteed money up front, the overall highest paid non-quarterback ever. He's not good enough to get paid that type of money when we get the ball ran at you and right down your throat and you can do nothing to stop it. I'm sorry. The Cowboys haven't turned into the best defensive run team in the league, but they aren't the worst. And prior to this year, they absolutely were. So we got to keep it a beam, man. We need to just show Dez highlights in that locker room. I mean, but you say that to say what, though, Brandon? Because I'm like, hey, listen, we ain't got no issues. Did you see what Flournoy did yesterday? Buddy had 100 yards in the first half off of 5 or 6 catches. So the Cowboys are looking explosive at receiver. But this also brings us back to tempering ourselves, because the reality is this, and we got to keep it a bean here. What can we expect from the Dallas Cowboys moving forward? This team historically has been great at exceeding expectations when there are none. But when the expectations are for Dak to go out there and continue to play like an MVP, when the expectations are for the defense to show up in pivotal moments, they've dropped the ball. Right in the nuts. Every single time. Don't do it to me again, please. Rain Dakota Prescott, whatever you do, give us a chance to just win. I'm not telling you to go. Listen, I get the whole Cam Newton thing, the bus driver analogy, and all of that stuff. I could care less about that. Dak Prescott, continue to play with this amount of greatness, and I believe that we could at least put ourselves in a. I hate doing this because they do it to us every freaking year. You get our hopes up. She pretty. She come over. She talking good. She told you all this stuff. She sent you all type of photos. And then she came over here and you can smell it when she walked through the door. That's all I'm going to say. You got my hopes up. I'm just disappointed. Don't do it to us, Dak. Brian Schottenheimer, please continue to execute. Let's go back to this schedule. We know what happened with the Packers. It ended up being a tie game. I walked away from that game saying, quit playing with Rain Dakota Prescott because he is him. We seen what happened with the Jets. You did what you were supposed to do. You played to win the game. You beat the Jets, the lowly Jets, 0-4 Jets. You did what you were supposed to do. So although I'm impressed with what I've seen from Dak and the offense and the defense, you got to keep it up. You got to be consistent, and you got to do it against better opponents. Brandon said, I want them receivers to be ready, and he looked like Amari Cooper. I meant all this in a good way. I'm tired, boss. I want them to go all in. Laugh out loud. Brandon, my brother, let me where can I show you some love at, dog? Hold on. Let me see what the board got. Let me see what the board got, dog, because you right. And I think I'm just gonna go with a clap, dog. I ain't gonna lie. Truer words never been spoken, Brandon. I think what you're doing is speaking the sentiment of Cowboys fans across this greater nation. We all tired. We mother loving tired. You know what I'm saying? I don't be cussing like that. We mother loving tired, dog. Can you not? This is what people don't realize, how hard it is to be a Cowboys fan in these here United States of America. It's one of the hardest jobs. You talking about the president of the United States? Trump? Try being a Dallas Cowboy fan in Texas, in the DFW. I live 10 minutes, 15 minutes, about 10 minutes from the stadium. It's hard being a Cowboys fan in America, in Texas, mind you. We just want y'all to really give us an opportunity to say, hey, our team's really good too. That's sad that that's what we've been reduced to. I know y'all seen the documentary and Jerry seemed more likable. I didn't see a likable guy. I don't care about no documentary, Doc. I care about you putting the best talent on the field. Reese said, not a hard job. It's a very hard job. Because when you're a guy who understands sports, it's like going into a meeting knowing that you're wrong or knowing that it's a certain bottom line, right? I'm going in arguing for, hey man, can we get some food in the break room? These people are hungry and they like, what they got to do with making money? Like, nah, bro. You got to make the money, and then we can afford the snacks. We be putting the cart before the horse. It can't be our year every year. We didn't make the playoffs last year. How's it our year now? We got to stop talking about the 90s, and we got to start looking at the reality, bro. And this is my argument, Brandon. I'll say this. South Texas in the building. Man, shout out, man. What part of South Texas? You know what I'm saying? What part of South Texas you from? But man, here's my argument, man. I don't believe that our fandom should be free. If we want to see Jerry do something different, we got to withhold our viewership and we got to withhold our money. I'll say it again. If we want Jerry to make some actual changes that matter, we can't be the most valuable franchise in all of the world, Craig. The world. We are bigger than Manchester United. We are bigger than soccer. All of these things. The Dallas Cowboys are that. And as long as we do that, you can't convince Jerry that he's doing something wrong. And he'll tell you how bad he wants to win, but then he won't do the things. During free agency, you're vacationing. As soon as the free agency market opens up, Jerry is on a family trip every year. That cannot continue if you expect for us to be competitors, if you expect for us to be contenders. Bruce Glass said it was hard being a Washington fan when Dan owned the team. I feel you. But can I say this though? You were never considered America's team though. Not knocking it, because I think that from what I've heard, Washington fans are actually some of the most passionate, the best fans. Chocolate City, you feel me? But you never had the pressure of being the most talked about team. The Cowboys can go 0-16 and they're going to be talked about on national television. Their games may get flexed to 12 o'clock, but they are going to be talked about. So I'm speaking from that standpoint, Bruce. And Brandon said Corpus Christi. Shout out, man. Shout out to Corpus Christi, my guy. I've been through there once, twice. So yeah, but so bottom line is, Jerry is pretty much wanting George Pickens to return back. Talking about his work ethic, the type of teammate that he is, all of those things. So this is what I heard in local radio. You let me know what you think, Brandon. If you had a choice between getting George Pickens to come back or Javonte Williams, the running back, which one are you keeping? That's for anybody who knows sports. If you don't have to be a Cowboys fan, who would you rather have? Javonte Williams or George Pickens return to the Cowboys? Let me know. Let me know. George Pickens? Javonte Williams. I ain't gonna lie, I'm loving playing with this board now. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. Although I love what I've been seeing from that run game, I gotta be honest with you and tell you, man, I want to be able to blow the door off of any team. And having a two-headed monster at receiver, you have every opportunity to do that. Okay, Bruce said he'd rather have Williams, but both are worth keeping. So the argument was from some local fans. They said, I'd rather have Javonte. And we already got CD. And I'm like, so what? Listen, greatest show on turf. Torrey Holt. What was his name? Akeem. They had a running back too. Find a way to pay all of these guys. I'm sorry. Don't let him leave. Oh no. See, now we finna get into it, Brandon. We finna get into it. Cause you being a little disrespectful, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, you being a little too disrespectful for me. Hold on, Kinfolk. What? Let Cedarius Lamb go? Top 5 receiver in the NFL? Let CeeDee Lamb go. He drops the ball, and I'll keep Williams and Pickens. What you think now? Absolutely not. I would like to hope that even Bruce Glass would say that is a crazy assessment. First of all, you've already paid him. That's the first thing. You've already paid CD. Secondly, yeah, he be dropping the ball. I ain't got no argument for you right there, dog. I have no argument. I could argue that the reason that we lost that game against the Eagles is because of his drops. The real reason I could argue. Because 3rd and 10, Rain Dakota, he found him. You saved me. Oh, you saved me. Yeah, he found him wide open. Off his hands. Another one, off his face mask. So you're right about the drops. But I'm not getting rid of him though. I'm sorry. You know why too? And it could be a chemistry thing. But it takes Dak a long time to actually get George Pickens involved, where he can actually get CD involved very early. I think that what needs to happen is you got to have both of those guys because there's a balance that's needed. You have Pickens, who you can when you know, it's tough, man. But if we're gonna get a lot of possessions, then we need to be able to feed Pickens and CD. And CD just got to pay attention, man. He's not focusing. That's why he's ended up having all those drops. So I just don't. I don't like that. I don't like that one. I don't like that one at all. We welcome Lamb in Washington. Let him go. You see what I'm saying? You see what he's saying? You don't let go of him, dog. And don't get me wrong. I don't want to get rid of either one of those guys. Neither one. I think. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I'm finna say something, and I think it can be taken the wrong way. Let me go ahead and just hear me out, dog. It is my belief that we could have our new three-headed monster: CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Javonte Williams. I ain't talking about the triplets. I'm just saying our new three-headed monster. That's just my belief. Can a man dream? Can I have something for myself when I lay my head on my pillow? Nah, man, but yeah, I believe that those three guys and even the Ferguson, I don't think we need to work. And then you got a Flournoy coming, and you still got that one kid who's actually got out that Flournoy actually out playing. Who's the number one guy? The guy who's got the jersey number one. I don't remember him because he's not Tolbert, Jalen Tolbert. So you got Tolbert, you got Flournoy, you got Pickens, you got CD, you got Ferguson. You got Schoonmaker, who done nothing since we drafted him, and I never wanted to draft him. We should have went up and got Dalton Kincaid, but that's a whole nother situation. Whatever. Like they act like you don't know what you're talking about. And he said, Brandon said, but they're both ones. Perfect. That means that you're going to have to line us up mano a mano. You can't favor us. You're going to actually have to take your safeties and shade them to the side of whatever side, to both of those sides, which is going to leave them with Ferguson and maybe even you bringing in a third receiver in Flournoy or Tolbert and having to put a corner, either bring a corner in and take a linebacker off the field or putting a linebacker on them. Listen, we talk about being a real poison here. That's all I'm saying. The more firepower, the better. How good would it feel to just focus on maybe linemen, offensive linemen, because you can never have enough good offensive linemen, and defensive players in your next draft, regardless of where you're drafting at? That's what I'm saying. If you really want to start looking to or packaging those picks to actually be able to go make a splash and get the guy who's going to be able to be the great defensive end that can actually stop the run and the pass. The great linebacker. We haven't had a great linebacker in Dallas in 15 years. I remember the Dat Wins of the world. Like, I mean, I'm just saying. We need to focus on really if what we have for whatever the window that Dak is going to be effective, if he is in fact going to be effective, we have to find a way to put a defense there, because what you don't want is Jerry Jones coming back to say, like he said about Romo, oh, I hate that I didn't get to put as many people around him. I'm like, it's over now. We can't go back and cry over spilt milk about not being able to properly fit Romo with the players that he needed to win. Don't let it happen again with Dak, because we might actually catch lightning in a bottle here. Y'all get Lamb back and keep Dak healthy and pick up some defensive players before the trade deadline. Y'all can make a run. That's what I'm saying. You think Bruce wants to say that? He don't want to say that. He don't want to admit that. By the way, those Commanders, I know we'll see him in a couple weeks. We'll see him in 2 weeks to be exact. They're looking real beatable. They're looking real beatable. I'm just saying. But that's neither here nor there. All right. Brandon said Tolbert really underrated. Just saying, another topic for another day. Heard he went in a lot. He put in a lot of work for Dak this offseason. No. No, it fits in. We talking Cowboys here at the end of the day. Now we talking Pickens and all of that, but we talking Cowboys. So you're absolutely correct. Tolbert showed up big last year, but I don't fear, because anything that makes the team better. What I'm starting to get the vibe of is that because you got to think Flournoy balled out a little bit last week as well. So what I'm actually looking at is that you might be in a great situation when you go 4 wide and you got CD and Pickens, and then you got Flournoy and Tolbert on the inside. And then you got Ferguson lined up. Then you got Javonte in the back. I'm telling you, the Cowboys, if they don't lay a freaking Easter egg here, we have an opportunity to do something that we did. I wasn't expecting for these guys to make the playoffs. Y'all remember me saying this now. If anybody remembers me saying this, I said, hey, the Cowboys are going 7-9 or 7-10 or whatever that is with 17 games, right? And I said, if the receivers go off, we have the ability to win two. That could be a 2-game swing. So now you're looking at 9-8. That's what I said. So that's just me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not mad. I'm not mad at Tolbert. I just think that Flournoy is actually like showing that he's probably just better than Tolbert. You get what I'm saying? The way he's been balling out. So the basement boys, you feel me? The basement boys said, I would say CD, Pickens, Flournoy, and Mingo, no Tolbert. Well, here's the issue, though. Here's my only issue with that. Where is Mingo? I haven't heard his name be called, if I'm being honest. Mingo was supposed to be that Hail Mary for us, and I've not seen anything. So what have you seen from Mingo that would make you believe that he's actually your guy? Like, you get what I'm like? That's a real question here. So the Basement Boys, appreciate you for tapping in, man. Chat, say what's up to that boy, the Basement Boys. If it's anybody in here that hasn't hit the like, please do so, man. Just show love, you know what I'm saying? Super chats are available. Cash apps are available. But show some love and hit that like. It's a free thing to do, man. Make sure y'all subscribe. We talk sports every week, specifically Cowboys and teams from the Metroplex. But we also talked Sheduer earlier. So please, by all means, go watch it from the beginning if you want to see that. The Basement Boys said, what's goody, homie? Hoodie in the building. What's goody, hoodie? What's goody, homie? Hoodie in the building. Yes, sir. I thought you were saying what's goody in a hoodie, because I used to say that a lot. What's goody in a hoodie? You know what I'm saying? Mingo has had his 21-day window opened. You will see it. So what happened? Fill me in. Was he injured? Because I didn't hear about it. And here's the thing. Mingo showed some flashes last year as well. So that's why I'm saying, listen to me. How about this? And this is being real here. How about we keep all of them? How about we go 5 wide? Ferguson's off the field. Javonte's off the field. And we just line these guys up and route people up and say, Dak Prescott, you find out who to punch in the mouth. It don't matter. Because I guarantee you this, going 5 wide, there's not a defense in the NFL that can stop all those guys. Tell me I'm wrong, the Basement. Tell me I'm wrong. If we can go 5 wide, ain't nobody beating us. Said, damn, my phone died. What you say about Tolbert? Just basically that I believe that Flournoy has proven that he's maybe just better than Tolbert. He seems like he's tall, more athletic, more powerful. I mean, Tolbert hasn't had a game like that yet, and he's been a good red zone guy for Dak over the last few years. but Flournoy he is flat out lighting it up. And so the Basement Boys was basically saying, hey, he say Tober's the odd man out. He believes that if you're going for 4, you throw Mingo in there and then you get Tobert out of there. Now, my question is, like, where is that coming from? You know what I'm saying? Oh, and then he responded. He said, yeah, he had a knee in preseason. Okay, cool. But I'll be honest. This is a league, and you know this. This is a league that is, what have you done for me lately? Ooh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, what have you done for me lately, dog? And I just believe that I hope that Mingo gets his opportunity. Don't get me wrong, because, you know, we traded a good pick to get him. But overall, I just personally, I don't really care. I want the best guys out there. As long as Pickens and CD is on opposite ends, I don't care who you put in them slots. As long as they make the catch when the ball, because my point too, the Basement, I don't know how long you've been on here, is what me and Brandon were talking about, is he was wanting to get rid of, he was saying get rid of CD. And I'm like, for who? Like, what are we talking about here? Even with the drops, he's still the best receiver on this team by far. He's still more electric. And here's the thing. 1A, 1B, I don't really care. If you say Pickens is better, I don't care. I just want to put as much pressure on the defense as possible. So the other question that we put in my question for you, the Basement, is I was listening to a local sports say that there may be an issue with either keeping Pickens or keeping Javonte Williams. Who would you keep? Would you get rid of either one of those? Who would you prefer to get rid of? I'm going to always skill position receivers. They not that easy to come by that are going to be big play. They're going to make big plays in big moments. And so I think CD and Pickens are your guys that I would love to see them on the outside any day. They're in a defense stopping Pickens, Flournoy right now. Laugh out loud. We don't need to unleash all the dogs at once. You can run a seamless rotation. I agree. That's what I'm saying. The Cowboys have somehow found a way. Hey, what they said on Dumb and Dumber? So you're telling me there's a chance. So you're telling me that we actually got a chance to be formidable in a season but this is what they do, man. If y'all be honest with me right now, the Cowboys, when you think it's no hope, they find a way to get some doggone hope. When you think the run game is just done for, you got Javonte Williams come walking through the door looking like one of the better backs in the NFL. When you think Dak Prescott, hey, let's figure out how we going to move on. Arch Manning, I was never on that train, even though I'm a Texas fan. That kid looks terrible, by the way. Dak Prescott shows up looking like vintage 2 years ago MVP run before he hurt his calf muscle. And if y'all remember the game where Dak hurt his calf muscle was overtime against the New England Patriots. He rolled out to his right, threw that pass to CeeDee Lamb, overextended, pulled his calf something serious, and when he came back, he was never the same after that injury. And so, overall, I want Dak looking like that vintage guy before the injury, because he has proven to be a little more injury prone over the last couple years. It just is what it is. Brandon said, oh yeah, he looked really good. Okay. The Basement said, pay zero attention to that noise. CD is Timothy Williams. Exactly, my boy. I'm not trying to hear it. That man is phenomenal. I mean, in the first game, it was first half, of course, it was before the drops. I'm like, bruh, that dude had caught that ball rolling out to the sideline, hit that move and cut. I said, oh, that man is him. I'm sorry, dog. If I've not been a fan of anybody on this team, Sedarius Lamb, that's my guy. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? So he said, I'm keeping Pickens. He gives you the deep ball, either reception or penalty. Javonte Williams isn't going to cost you the house. You can make it work. You don't have anyone else to sign. So you're right that we don't have any. You're right on both of those, right? It ain't going to cost you the house, but is it going to cost you more than you're willing to pay? And my example for that is Rico Dowdle. Now, we just seen that boy ran for 200 yards yesterday, right? Cramped up. He needed some of that pickle juice. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Deuce Staley. I don't know if anybody y'all remember Deuce Staley running for 200 some yards on us. He said the pickle juice gave it to him. It gave him the juice. You feel me? But yeah, man, I don't disagree with you. But if it comes down to it, though, I wonder if they think just like we found him. And let's not forget, I just thought about this. Let's not forget we got Jaden Blue behind him, Texas boy. So I'm not arguing. I agree with you. I want to keep him, but we do have formidable guys behind him. The only difference is, and Miles Sanders has been toting that pill too, right? Miles Sanders been toting that pill. So I think we just in a good position offensively, man. That's the biggest takeaway. We in a good position, a better position than what we realize. Is Jerry really the mastermind that he gives himself credit for? What do y'all think in the chat for real? Is Jerry Jones really like that and we just been thinking of him unfavorably? Is Jerry Jones really the puppet master and we just ain't been showing him no love? Brandon Aguero said, before it's said and done, I know Dak will win at least 2 Super Bowl chips. God dang it. Don't do it. Brandon, don't do it, bruh. Don't do that, bruh. Don't do that, bruh. Don't do that, bruh. Before it's said and done, you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, you know that Dak Prescott gonna win 2 Super Bowl chips. That what you telling me? You looking at me, look at you, look at you, look at me. You look at me and my ojos, my those ojos. You looking at me and you telling me they gonna win a Super Bowl. Dak gonna win 2 of them. Now listen to you. I ain't mad at you, Ken Folk, if that happens. But as Cowboy fans, I just caution us to proceed. Just be careful. So we doing 90 and 30 right now. We're doing 90 and 30, Ken Folk. I don't want nobody jumping on no bridges, making no statements like this. And I'm all for it. I'm not mad. Please get me to an NFC championship, if you would. The basement said, nope, not at all. I ain't mad at that. If you believe we can make it work, hey, listen, your mama call him Clay, I'm gonna call him Clay. So if you say we can make it work, make it last forever. I ain't mad at it, dog. Brandon said, and I'm a huge fan of CD, but I'm upset he been dropping balls. Just hope it don't happen in big games like it has been, because Green Bay, he was dropping balls and that defense was trash as well. So I think that was a little fool's gold. Don't get me wrong. That is not a bad defense. That is actually one of the more elite defenses in the NFL, if I'm being honest. But as we've seen the Cowboys give up 40. We've seen them not give up 40, right? This is just a parody of the NFL. So I caution you with that too, is like the Packers aren't a bad defense. They're actually one of the better ones. And I think with the off week that they just came up off of, they'll figure out a way to right that ship. But what we probably have seen or experienced as a result of that game is that your Dallas Cowboys are far better than what we give them credit for on offense. That Brian Schottenheimer is looking like the puppet master here. And so I'm with you, but I think let's just let it play out here. Because if Jerry, you want to prove to us that you're all in, go get us a few more defensive players. We got some coming off injury, but go make us a trade. Go get us another guy on that defensive line, and I'll believe you. I believe that you was all in. Javonte Williams is 3rd in the NFL, 1st in the NFC. Rico is 18th in the NFL, 8th in the NFC. I'm not worried about Dowdle. No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. You misconstruing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, we don't know. Rico ran that ball pretty well. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this might have been his first game starting. Maybe not. But 200 yards, that is nothing to scoff at in the NFL. Would you agree? Running for 200 yards in the NFL as a single back, I gotta believe that he here to stay. That's all I'm saying. I'm not even saying that Rico is as good a back as Javonte. What I am saying is, I think we're looking at 2 different teams too, right? We finna see, because Cowboys Panthers is this upcoming week, right? So we finna see how good Rico is versus our defense, and we're gonna see how good Javonte is versus their defense, right? I don't think that the Panthers are built to win right now either way. That's why, even more the reason why I'm impressed by what Rico did. That's all I'm saying. Then he said Javonte Williams will have 1,400 yards this year, plus 350 or more. 350 plus. I'm assuming you're saying passing through the air. More. Oh, you're gonna. Oh no, I get what you're saying. He's gonna have 350 plus more yards than Rico got us last year. A different team though. Different team for sure. I mean, who was the second? Jalen Tolbert was the second guy last year. We can't negate what George Pickens does to this offense, right? We can't negate what, last year. I mean, that I forgot who that right guard was, but he was a turnstile. Like Tyler was everything for us last year, and that kid out of Oklahoma, he was terrible. He was flat out terrible. So I think with your interior line looking much better, adding George Pickens, adding Javonte Williams for sure, because I do believe he is a better back than Rico Dowdle. I'm not arguing with you there. I just overall, man, I do believe that we're looking at a far improved team, and we just didn't realize it. You say Jerry is like that. I can't be mad at you, man. Shout out to Dak delusional fans, man, with more excuses. Hey, look, my boy tapped in with me last week, and now he here live. I gotta respect that. You know what I'm saying? He said Jerry is like that. I can receive that. Javonte has scored 5 touchdowns in 5 weeks. Rico has 2 touchdowns all last year. Once again, though, I'm not arguing with you, my brother. I think you think I'm taking a stance that I'm not taking. I'm saying I do believe that Javonte is a better runner. It's obvious from what we see, but I think the team is configured better for any that's back there to shine, right? Nobody was expecting for this offense to look this explosive. I don't think anybody even expected the offense to look explosive. It was just a hope that with adding Pickens, because, I mean, I was like, okay, when are we getting Jaden Blue in there? Because who is Javonte Williams? I'm going to be honest. I mean, he's not done anything spectacular like that. But he did come off a knee injury, if I'm not mistaken. Was playing with a far inferior team in Carolina and stuff like that. And I believe he actually played somewhere else before he went to Carolina. After he came from Carolina. But I'm not mad, dog. I'm just gonna tell you, I ain't mad at all. Now, and then I got a question for Dak Delusional, because we just had a conversation in the chat. You remember that, right? How we feeling about this Dak Romo conversation? Because, hey, bro, I'm just saying, Dak looking like that guy. He's looking like Himothy as well. He said, no team has got to a championship game after year 9 with its original quarterback, if they hadn't already done so by year 6. So are you saying that there's no way that Dak Prescott takes the Cowboys to an NFC championship or an actual Super Bowl? Is that what you're saying? Based off of those stats and facts that you just put out? CD didn't have any drops in the Green Bay game. In fact, CD didn't even play in the Green Bay game this year. I didn't want to address that, but you're right. He was already hurt, my guy. He was already hurt. So, you're talking about the Eagles game because he got hurt in the Giants game. But, we're going to give our brother some grace, dog. We're going to give our brother some grace. Hey, look, the basement was ready to hop on that boy. He said, Dak Delusional, you're a liar. Peyton Manning, year 9 with the Colts. Oh, okay, so we got a little beef in the chat. Why you call that man a liar, though, dog? Why you got to call that man a liar? Now, that is an outlier. I will say that. He probably found his home. Hopefully. You're right. Not surging. I feel you there. He said, Dak played very well. He's doing now what is expected of a quarterback. So let me ask you this, because you do seem to not be a Dak fan overall. And I'll be honest with you, as a Cowboys fan, I'll raise my hand and say, hold on, folks. I've not been a Dak Prescott supporter like that. Every time I've believed that Dak was gonna show up and fit the bill, he's always found a way to let us down. And I ain't saying just me. He's always found a way to let us down. And so I'm just trying to turn over a new leaf and get a brother a chance. Dak is still not on Romo level. Chat, what do we think about that? He says Dak is still not on Romo level. How do we feel about that? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. Up until now, if we look at the stats, and here's the thing, bro, people really be biting my style. I'm talking about ESPN and them, because I don't remember nobody talking about Romo versus Dak. Excuse me, until I said something last week. Call me delusional. I don't care. Call me, hey, look, Dak delusional. Call me delusional. But nobody was talking about Romo versus Dak. I'm like, fam, is it time to say, bro? I've seen Romo do well. I've seen Romo put together some cool games, but I've never seen Romo really go on a like true MVP run. And mind you, Dak only gave us 5 games of a true MVP run 2 years ago before he got hurt, and then it wasn't the same. So what we're seeing now is the best version of Dak I think we've ever seen, with having the mind, the skill set, and the understanding of the offense to actually do what is being. And here's the other thing too. He's been asked to do more with less, far greater than he's ever had been able to do. Not because of the talent that he actually has, but I'm saying with CD being out, with 4 out of 5 linemen not actually playing, not the starters didn't play, to carve up any defense, I don't care if they're a winless team, that's still very impressive to me. So you said Dak is still not on Romo level. I think that's kind of crazy. But, you know, I hate to each his own. Well, I'm hoping he overcomes history. Hey, I respect the humility in that. Hey, I hope he does something that I was wrong. I hope he does better. This ain't my first run in with Dak delusional. Oh, okay. So y'all been frequenting them same circles. Okay, I see what's going on here. This precedes me. He said, this is bigger than Nino Brown. See, this goes beyond me. All right, I get it. I'll give you 2 games where we can put it where we can put it on Dak. Okay, give me 2 games. He said Romo never had a string of winning seasons. Dak has never had a losing season. Okay. He said facts. Dak never had a 1-15 season. Here's my thing though. Here's my thing to that, because that's a fact, right? But here's my issue with statements like that. Sometimes I believe that it gives us the illusion that we were better than we actually were. Both the San Fran games. I agree. I've been saying it from a mountaintop. CeeDee Lamb. Now to Brandon, I'll say this. Now, if you want to know the greatness of CeeDee Lamb, look at that second game. That second game. We can't name another receiver that was relevant in that San Francisco game. And Sheduer Lamb had something like, 10 catches, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns. Stop playing with me. When the moment gets big, that guy shows up. I'm not saying he's perfect. Nobody is. Okay, we get it. The Larry Fitzgeralds of the world hardly drop passes. You get what I'm saying? I get all of that. But that kid, I'm not getting rid of him. He gets the manyan. You feel me? So you're absolutely correct, though. 2 games that can be put on Dak are absolutely those Green Bay games, and especially the second game, because the defense kept us in contention the entire game. And we stopped the run. If y'all remember this game, if y'all true Cowboy fans, y'all remember we stopped the run for 3 quarters. We got to the 4th quarter, and then it took 1 or 2 drives where McCaffrey got loose and whoever the other running back was, well, they kind of got loose, and that's all it took. But here, my theory is, it's only so much you can actually do. That's why you have to capitalize on your opportunities, because once the defense then got tired, it's over with. There's nothing we can do at that point. We weren't a great run-stopping team. So our best chance was to put up a few points to make Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy had no touchdowns, no interceptions in that game. Nobody remembers that. Brock Purdy had no touchdowns, no interceptions. Dak had a fumble and I believe an interception. That's all it takes. At least he had a fumble. So that's all it takes. Who gets the ball to these guys? The quarterback every time. I get the point you're making. Peyton was drafted in 1988. Went to a championship game in 2003. Basement boys, do your research before trying to disprove me. Why y'all want to beef so bad? You're definitely wrong, but okay. And then Bruce Glass coming in with the final. Jaguars beat the Chiefs 31-28. Whoa. Wait, what'd you say? What'd you say? Let me be clear here. I don't have the Chiefs making the playoffs this year. Huh? What'd you say? Huh? I don't have the Chiefs making the playoffs this year. What does this say about Sunshine, the quarterback? Bruce Glass, how did I always forget his name, but I call him Sunshine. How did Sunshine play in that game at quarterback? Patrick Mahomes, hey, ain't no 5 championships coming, and he's not the greatest quarterback ever. Stop disrespecting Tom Brady. Sorry, stop disrespecting Tom Brady. He's more talented. He's not better than Tom Brady, though. You got to get your 7 Oh, you said I don't either. Oh yeah, okay. He's saying he don't got them making the playoffs. Yeah, yeah, man. What I am interested to see is how they actually ended up using Travis Hunter. I want to see how they end up using Travis Hunter, because I do believe that they're not playing. You have to get Travis Hunter the ball in space, or you gotta let him go fight for some of those jump balls, because he's just a sheer athlete. He just makes plays, bro. I can't explain it to you. He's probably not the fastest. He's definitely not the strongest. He just knows he has a knack for the ball. He has a knack for scoring. Travis Hunter is still, and he's going to be great. I clearly believe that he's going to be a better corner, and I want them to play him more at corner. But I'm loving what I see. I'm loving what I'm seeing from these young guys in the league so far. But anyway, yeah, man, y'all, why y'all beefing, man? Why y'all come over here beefing, dog? At least if y'all gonna be beefing out here, please make sure y'all hit the like. Why y'all over here talking about know your stats? Dak, Dak Delusional, you do seem like you be kind of a little tight though. I'm like, so what do you dislike about Dak? That was my question. Do you dislike Dak? And if you do, what is your issue with him? What's your overall issue? Because I'm not gonna lie, I think we often get caught up in the nostalgia of who Dak was. I mean, of who Romo was. Let's not forget the dropping of the slick ball when you was already the guy who did that. It was just a lot to it, man. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, man. Romo let us down a lot too. He ain't that much. His numbers don't prove at this point in their careers. He had played more games to this point. His numbers already aren't better than Dak's. And Dak is just piling it on at this point. The basement said that's a championship game, not the Super Bowl. Please read what you said before you get crazy. Y'all, what's wrong with y'all, dog? I ain't gonna lie. This is entertaining. Because y'all actually going to look up stats and then coming back talking noise to each other. It's very entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. But overall, though, I do want to know, Dak. I know you probably looking for a stat to argue with him about, but I do want to know what is your issue with him? Uh-oh, here we go. Hold on. He said he reloaded. He said he reloaded, dog. Dak Delusional said January 18, 2024, Peyton Manning Colts lost to the Patriots 14-23. Fact check it. Hey, he said guess again. He said guess again, dog. I like Dak losing and dislike Dak winning. Bruce, you ain't got to come here with that hate, dog. We out here having a good conversation, man. We got Cowboys fans eating their way at each other. I thought we were supposed to be in this together. And Peyton Manning went to the Super Bowl in 2007 against the Bears and Rex Grossman. And how did that go, pray tell? Rex Grossman was the biggest farce of a quarterback on a loaded team we've ever seen. I'll say that. But I mean, what's y'all's point though? We in here fighting. It's like, guys, you're fighting. They are both AFC teams. They both can't play. They both can't play for a Super Bowl at the same time. Okay. But I guess I'm going. What was the original point, though? That's 9 years. Okay, I remember the point. He was saying that basically no team has kept the same quarterback longer than 6 years and made it to a championship. And so then that's when you said Peyton Manning, get your facts straight. And so was the point an NFC championship or was the point a championship game or was it a Super Bowl? This is what I said, basement, little boy. Whoa. 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 Hold on, dog, because this is getting a little spicy out here, dog. Not you caught that man a little boy. I'm already being messy too, but I mean, I'm just saying. No team has got to a championship game after 9 years with its original quarterback if they hadn't already done so by year 6. I mean, that sounds like what we talking about, though, right? And Bruce said, if they ever won a Super Bowl, I wouldn't hate him for it. He deserves to win at least one. Rain Dakota Prescott? Are you talking about Rain? Rain Dakota Prescott? The barometer is the Super Bowl. You don't win conference championships. You don't win to play conference championships. You play to win Super Bowls. So your point is he went to a Super Bowl, and his point is if the championship is the bar, if the NFC championship is the bar, teams typically don't do it if they keep a quarterback and it goes past the year 6. I get it. I just want to see him do it. Do you play to win Super Bowls or go to an AFC or NFC championship? Listen, I'll be honest. You play to win the game. And you play to go, and you definitely you want to play to win a championship. I agree. The Super Bowl. But man, would I love to get to an NFC championship. Do you know how many times we've been to the divisional, bro? You know how many times we've been to the divisional? Bro, it's right there. And we just couldn't find a way to do it. So I agree. But I do want you guys to please let me know what is the point of it all, though, because y'all both Cowboys fans, if I'm correct. What are y'all arguing with each other about so much about this point? I think, and I guess my overarching question is, Dak delusional. Are you saying that you don't believe that Dak is the guy to get us there? Or is that what your overall point is? Are you saying that you don't believe that Dak is capable of getting us there, but you hope he does? Because I from what it sounds like, I believe that the basement is saying that he believes that that's gonna happen. That he wants to see that happen. He said, "Okay, hold on, let me make sure I didn't miss nothing." He said, "Okay, my problem with Dak is he don't do his job, and then everyone gets the blame." Are you for real? I don't know if that's true. I can't say that that's true, my brother, because Dak is the number one hated quarterback even now. You can't name a quarterback that's hated more than Dak. Please name the quarterback who's hated more than Dak. What can't go wrong will go wrong. He's perpetuated the cycle that Romo started with that saying, if I'm being honest. So I gotta disagree with you on that one respectfully, my brother. The basement said, I've seen 3 Super Bowls with my Cowboys. I don't know if any of these guys have. And I have too, to be honest. I've seen all of the triplet Super Bowls. I mean, I'm 38. So their first Super Bowl that they won, I was in the 5th grade. Or maybe it was the last one. No, the first one, I was in the 5th grade. So yes, I was there. I remember it. I remember Cowboy Day and all that. It was a glorious time, folks. But it's the only thing I could talk about. So it's actually quite shameful. Who gonna win World Series this year? I'm gonna be honest with you, Bruce. I have not followed baseball. The Rangers were trying to fight so hard to become relevant in the wild card. And once I realized they were finally like out of it, eliminated, I haven't really cared about baseball. It's very hard for me, bro, to man, we got so much in the Metroplex. You know, the Mavericks and the Cowboys and the Stars, Dallas Stars. It's hard for me to keep up with the Rangers if they not relevant and winning. Almost no better atmosphere when the Rangers are relevant, but I don't know, bro. You tell me who you think is gonna win, to be honest. He just a cornball, my guy. His takes are asinine. Whoa. Sheesh. Sheesh. He said, ding ding. You can't win a Super Bowl without getting to a championship game. If you get to a championship game, you one step closer. That's a good point. To his point, that's a good point. You got to get there. You gotta get to a championship game to win it. Then he said, "No, Dak is not capable of getting us to a Super Bowl." I think that's. Hey, listen, he hasn't been able to do it thus far. Let's see what Jerry does to put the players around him to see if he's capable. You can't get to the playoffs if you don't win enough games to get you to the playoffs. Now, yeah, you breaking me down. You breaking me down so it can forever be broke. You know what I'm saying? I'm 43. Hey, you remember that Oklahoma State guy, Gundy? I think his name was Van Gundy or something like that. Mike Gundy. But they was coming down on the kid, and he said, ask me that question. I'm a man. I'm 40. It's one of the funniest clips ever, bro. And then he cut the kid afterwards. So crazy. I'm a man. I'm 40. Dak delusional. I've seen all 5 Super Bowls. I know what a Super Bowl winning quarterback looks like for the Cowboys. Dude, how old are you? 92? You've seen all 5 Super Bowls? What? I mean, seriously, how old are you? The basement said he's 43. How old is you, Dak delusional? He said, I do. Okay. Dak delusional said, okay, what does Dak need to get to a Super Bowl? He already hasn't had, and don't make excuses. What does Dak need to get to a Super Bowl? That's a good question. What does Dak need to get to a Super Bowl? And listen, I know they're going back and forth in the chat, but y'all chime in as well because they kind of monopolizing it. It's fine. At least it's 12 of y'all in here watching. It was up to 14. Please hit the like. I ain't asking you for much here. Please just hit the like for your boy. All it does is spread. It's free, and it allows the people to be able to hop in on this conversation with us. So for the 14 people who are watching, it would do my heart really well if you would just hit that like for your boy. Take that thumb, that finger, that pinky, whatever, and hit that like for me. I really would appreciate it. Okay. And so the basement asked the question. He said, did Romo win a Super Bowl? Well, we know the answer to that, but I get his point. Why are you so high on Romo, who didn't win a Super Bowl, when you could be so low on Dak? And they have the same type of issues. They didn't win Dak hasn't won a Super Bowl. Romo didn't win a Super Bowl. Romo pissed away a lot of opportunities. We had some number 1 seeds and, some high number 1, 3 seeds. Both years we lost to the Giants, we were a number 1 seed, and then I think we were number 3 seed. So, to your point, you're right. So let's see. Let's see what we got now. Did Romo win a Super Bowl? He said, all right, let me make this a little bigger, a wee bit bigger. This defense to play lights out with what he has now consistently from him and everyone else. It's a team game. One guy can't win your Super Bowl. Troy didn't do it himself, and neither did Roger Staubach. That is very true. It is going to take a conservative effort. Oh, and we have super chats as well. If you want to get your comment in here, hit one of them super chats and holler at your boy while we in here chatting. You know what I'm saying? We up to 8 likes. We got 15 people hopping in. Thank you for tuning in to You Get These Sports, bro. We are talking CD Lamb. We talking Dak Prescott. We talking Jerry Jones and all of those things. We are having a debate in the comments right now about Romo or Dak, who is actually better, and why one of the guys believes that Romo was far better than Dak. Dak is not on his level. and also believes that Dak is not the guy to get us to a championship. Y'all chime in to let us know what you actually think. I don't know. I think the jury is out, and I think that he has the ability to prove us wrong. So we will see. Dak Delusional says Romo carried those teams and wasn't the reason they lost in the playoffs as the quarterback. I think you're pushing it a little bit with that. I I think the defenses could have been better. I think there's a lot of things about those teams that could have been better. But Romo has like 7 career picks in the playoffs. Let's not forget that. Last show that I did, I brought those stats up. Hold on, let me go back. I don't want to miss no. Okay, so he did say that. And then the next one, he says Dak is always the reason or big reason they lost in the playoffs. Man, cut the BS. Dak been carrying this team. I just gave you 2 games he was bad out of 7. Are you serious, bro? Seattle. Hey, so yeah, I mean, I've seen Dak come up big in the playoffs. I'm not saying it was the divisional because clearly it wasn't the divisional because we didn't win. But I've seen Dak spit the bit, man. I ain't gonna lie. I've seen both of these quarterbacks have less than stellar moments, and I think we just got to be honest about that. Romo only has 2 picks in the playoffs. I got rid of my stats. You right. Okay, you right. You right. You right. I was surprised by that actually. Dak has more picks in the playoffs. That's my fault. I got them mixed up, but you're right about that. Romo only has 2 picks in the playoffs. Martin McGee Jr. said, and they both have the same problem that absolutely had nothing to do with them. It's the way that Jerry has put this team together. Okay, Martin. Appreciate you for stopping by. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully you stick and stay. But okay. So Martin said, man, they both got the same problem. It's a Jerry issue. So here's the question, guys. Can we find a Switzerland in this? Is Jerry more of the issue for this team not being successful than Romo or Dak ever was? Let's talk from that standpoint. What role has Jerry Jones played in the success or failure of this team? And did it play a bigger role than Dak or Romo ever played? Let's hop in this chat. Chat's going crazy, man. A healthy Dak has what it takes to win, but defense has to do its part. 1,000%. 1,000%. And that's why I could appreciate the basement for bringing up both the San Francisco games, because Dak was horrendous in both those games. The basement says none of them were perfect. No. But to say Tony Romo carried those teams, you're as drunk as your age, is wild. Why do we continue to take shots at each other? That is hilarious. Romo, worst game in the playoffs was the Vikings, and the whole team didn't show up. I thought it was like an Eagles game where we got beat like 44-6 or something like that. Now, I remember that game because that was the year when we had Keith Brookings, and he would do all that crazy stuff in the pregame. And I was really hoping that we were going to do something that year. And we wouldn't end up playing against the Vikings, and they trounced us. So I do remember that game. Absolutely. Dak does have more picks in the playoffs. Absolutely. That was undeniable. If you go back and look at the last show, we talked about it. And we looked at stats for stats. Now, let me be clear. That was probably the one stat that Romo had better than Dak, period. And Dak has played less games. Romo has more picks already than Romo. Romo already has more picks than Dak has in his career up to this point, with Dak playing less games. But Romo has less picks in the playoffs than Dak has. I'm sorry. So then he says, not blaming Jerry. He not on the field. See, this was where we finna have to disagree, my brother. I guess Michael Parsons not having any stats in the playoffs are Dak's fault too. Now you're talking, my brother. Say that one more time. For the people in the back. Let's look Michael Parsons stats in the playoffs once again. And we only talking about the stats that matter. Very little tackles for loss. Very little tackles for loss. 1 sack. We were up 17 in that game, blowing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out. Against San Francisco in 2 games and against Green Bay, he's been rendered ineffective, null and void. So, yes, we could agree that Micah Parsons playing terribly has nothing to do with the other side of the football and what Dak has done. In 2019, when you in the playoffs, defense held Eagles to 17 points. What Dak do? In 2019, in the playoffs, in 2019 win, you in the playoffs, defense held 17 points, Eagles 17 points. What did Dak do? Good question. What did Dak do? Gotta love Cowboys fans not agreeing with each other. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. This is bizarre. I can't. I be completely honest with you. I don't understand how we don't realize that Jerry Jones is the biggest cog in all of this. Yes, Jerry Jones plays to have the players on the team that he is, that he believes can help us succeed. But those players also in return still have to get the job done. The 2 greatest quarterbacks of the last 20 years, one was undrafted, one was drafted in the 4th round. That isn't a screaming for success for the Dallas Cowboys. We have to do a better job of vetting quarterback positions, because if Dak ends up being the guy, awesome. But it's very unconventional. You get quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds and they succeed, typically. So we have to take a deeper look at Jerry Jones and say, hey, man, you're not getting the job done as the GM of this team. If the Cowboys are able to go to the playoffs and win a couple games, go to an NFC Championship, even go to a Super Bowl, we can't give Jerry so much credit, because he is also the reason that we have put bad groceries on the field. I'm sorry. Did Dak give up 270 yards to Todd Gurley? Did Dak give up the game-winning field goal to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in 2016? Lack of offseason moves to put them in position to succeed in the playoffs. They have done a fantastic job of putting regular season teams together, but they never made any moves to build off of that. I do agree with that. I think that's a great point, Martin. I think that's a great point. Romo played in a different era, most of his career, when defense could actually play defense. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like that argument. You know why? Because then when you look at like the Donovan McNabbs of the world, if you look at the Eli Mannings of the world, those guys made it to Super Bowls in an era where defenses matter. Like, I don't think that's a good argument, me personally. Now it's errors, huh? Let's move the goalpost for the Golden Boy. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm being honest, I gotta say, Romo let us down a lot, Dak Delusional, and I think you gotta be honest about that. It's fine to think that Romo was just a better quarterback. If you look at what he actually came from, being undrafted to, coming in after Bledsoe and doing what he did, all that stuff, phenomenal. Not mad at that. But it's like, man, Dak, he's cost us a lot. Romo had cost us a lot of games, man. He flat out pissed away a lot of games for us because he had such a gunslinger's mentality. The same thing that made him great also made us terrible at times. So I just don't want us to be numb to that fact as well. He said Dak had a sprained AC joint. When? Don't know. Don't know. Be the best. When did he have? Yeah, let me know. Let me know when that was. He said chat lit right now. Laugh out loud. Nah, for real. Nah, the chat is popping, man. Like I said, man, y'all hit the likes, man. So y'all hit the likes so people can come in here and be a part of this conversation. Cause, man, we just being Cowboys fans. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Siblings fight all the time, Bruce Glass. So let's get it off our chest, man. Hopefully we can come to a healthy medium, but I definitely am still blaming Jerry Jones more than I'm blaming Dak or Romo. Micah and Dak are overrated, overhyped. Jerry should have let both go. So, so if I'm being honest, Dak delusional. I said the same thing. I said, man, if we let Dak go, don't have to pay him the extension. Maybe we suck enough to actually get the best quarterback in the draft. Can we try that out? Can we just try to tank for once? That was my thought process, right? Now, listen, I'm not mad. Dak is doing what he do. Dak is doing what Dak do, right? In this instance, hopefully the new and improved Dak. But I was absolutely one of those people who said 2 years ago, how about we just let Dak walk? Let's see what we got. So I ain't mad at that. This dude, is just talking the talk. That dude is just talking the talk. Martin McGee Jr. said, so yeah, championships are won in the offseason by the team that makes all the right moves. And Jerry Jones is proven not to do that. So to your point, Martin, can you flat out just go ahead and say that you believe that Jerry Jones is the reason the Cowboys haven't been successful or relevant in the right way? Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick. It doesn't matter where you're picked. I disagree. See, this is the thing. We can't look at outliers. Romo's an outlier. Dak Prescott's an outlier. Tom Brady is the outlier of all outliers. Name another quarterback, undrafted or picked in the 6th round, who has been to a championship, let alone won 7 of them, been to 9 of them. You got to, or 10 of them, right? He lost twice to the Giants, right? Did he lose twice to the Giants? Anyway, I don't just know his stat line like that. But my point is, that's an outlier. You get what I'm saying? I'm not disagreeing with you, but quarterback is one of those positions where it actually does matter. You get what I'm saying? It just so happens that Tom Brady ended up being one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and he was drafted in the 6th round. We don't have another person that we can name that's done that. So that's not necessarily fair. I'm a football guru. Yes, you have to account for the rule changes when comparing quarterback stats from different eras. I do think that it matters, but I don't think it's the end-all be-all when you have other quarterbacks who are lighting up the NFL during that time period is my point, right? So I'm not saying that Dak didn't always have the best line. You get what I'm saying? He didn't always have the best running back. He always had a phenomenal receiver, at least one receiver. And, of course, having Jason Witten is a cheat code. But there were other quarterbacks that were lighting up the league at that time. So just to say that the era is supposed to be the end-all, be-all, I just don't agree with that. That's just me. So who had better coaching staff, Tony Romo or Dak Prescott? Ooh, that's tough. And I'm going to tell you why that's tough. Because it's hard for me to fairly assess and say who had the better quarterback, who had the better coaching staff when Jerry Jones has proven that since the Big Tuna, he was going to completely dictate who was on that staff. We all know what happened with Jimmy. There's no reason Jimmy shouldn't have retired a quarterback, the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. You bring Barry in here. Barry wins with the groceries picked by Jimmy Johnson. Let's call a spade a spade. So then it goes downhill from there. We can't name who's the last. So between Barry Switzer and the Big Tuna, Bill Parcells, between Barry Switzer and Bill Parcells, who was a great coach that we had? And then between Bill Parcells and Brian Schottenheimer, who's a great coach that we had? We've not had a great coach. And that's because of Jerry's pride and arrogance and ego. So, I mean, we could talk about who had the better coaching staff, but all I'm saying is that's not really saying much. So, all right, so let's get back to these comments. The comments is popping again. In 2019, what team was better, Eagles or Cowboys? I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember. So can you just tell us? If you're so much of a football guy, then explain why this quarterback we have is currently carrying the team and has been even in those 12-5 seasons. He said, no, I'm saying comparison. He said, no, I'm saying comparing stats in different eras. Okay. Martin said, you can look at all the teams that has won a Super Bowl since the last time we did, and it's not even brain surgery why Dallas keeps having these playoff woes. He said in 2019, name the playoff game Romo was reason Cowboys lost. I mean, I think it was a concerted effort. I don't think he had any help in that Minnesota game. I think he probably played particularly bad in that Eagles game too. The one that people got on him when he went to the press conference and said, "If this is the worst thing that ever happened to me, I'll be just fine." Like Romo didn't seem to have a heart of a champion for a lot of that too. So we got to keep that in mind. In 2019 versus the Eagles, the win and in game, Dak Delusional is talking about. I mean, okay, but can we get to the point though? It's like we kind of letting it linger. Here go the excuses. Dak was injured. Why did he play? Man, we ain't finna do that. Cause usually the backup ain't gonna be suffice enough, and you have to play somebody. And so I'd rather shoot that shoulder up or that ankle up and just take my quarterback out there and see how well he can play. We can't make excuses for that. I agree with you because I still remember the last Super Bowl against the Eagles that Patrick Mahomes won. He clearly had a very bad high ankle sprain, and he ran for like 25 yards to seal the game late. So you're right. I'm just saying though, like we all know how that goes. Dak Delusional, Giants 2007, Minnesota 2009. Dak Delusional because it was a win and it was a win and in, and we had a less than 0% chance to win without him. Dak, I mean, Dak has been the reason for a lot of our success, if I'm being honest. He's completely destroyed the NFC East for a long time. It wasn't until these last couple years that wasn't the case. Seattle, we had a guaranteed 5 to 6 wins off of our division without fail. So let's not forget that. Seattle game when Romo botched the field goal snap to send us to the NFC Championship. I just don't even like talking about it. That's the last time I ripped up my Cowboy jammies. I ripped up my Cowboy jammies off of that loss, dog. I was pissed. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the last time I said MNFer, and I don't even cuss like that. It just came out. I was like, whoa, okay, I can't carry this much. It's too much. Romo wasn't reason Cowboys lost against the Giants. That was on Creighton and defense. Creighton did have big drops in that game. 2 big drops in that game. Remember it like it was yesterday. And the defense was always trash. But, yeah, it's kind of tough, man, because I do kind of blame the defense and those drops by Creighton more than I would blame Romo. I feel like Romo put them in a position to win, and we just didn't show up for him. That's my honest opinion. So I will agree with you on that. On one of them. On one of those. When we had that number 1 seed, ain't no excuse. I ain't trying to hear it. There's no reason we should have lost to them. I don't give a crap how good they pass rush was. Don't know the best said, be the best said Seattle was the ultimate choke job. There was no reason for him to botch the snap. Man, they said them balls were slick, dog. I'm just saying. Dak Delusional. Oh, so you can put things into context and acknowledge other things that happen when it's a QB you like, but not when it's Dak. I ain't gonna lie. I think we've kind of made it clear that you are partial to Romo and don't like Dak like that. Seahawks game, he was a placeholder on the cheap play. They changed the rule. And what about the fumble safety? What about the fumble safety and defense giving up the touchdown? Yeah. He said that O-line and Zeke was not meant for Dak. In fact, Dak was never a part of the equation. Jamil Showers was the guy till he got hurt. That's a good point. Romo was that whole team drafting Zeke, all of that was a build up for Romo to finally walk into Cowboy greatness. And that back injury, at that point, I ain't gonna lie. I remember. Now I don't. Well, Jamil Showers definitely wasn't the backup at that point, because I remember when Dak came in, I said, "Oh, well, maybe you're saying he got hurt and that's why he didn't even end up playing." Which, if that's the case, I stand corrected. But I remember saying to myself, "Man, you just gotta roll with Dak at this point and see what he's got." Romo is too injury prone. We were handling him with kids' gloves at that point. So that's a really good point. That is a really good point. All right. So Martin said, you can always watch Dak walk out the door to your favorite rivals and win a chip or two, and we'll still be having this conversation. It's not just enough to have a great QB. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I don't think it is. Because at the end of the day, man, it's about winning, bro. We want to see the problem is, if Romo or Dak was so great, they would have won something of significance for us. We would have stopped the NFC East, the NFC Championship drought by now. Both of these guys have left a lot to be desired. That's the truth. And we got to find a reconcile in our minds that this isn't really an argument for Cowboy fans against Cowboy fans about Romo versus Dak. We got to be honest and say both of these guys have missed the mark often, and we got to find a way to get it back, period. What matters most is that we win. I want to win a championship. I want to go to an NFC championship. I don't give a crap how it looks, if it's a fluke. I don't care. I want to get there badly. Romo had Parcells, Wade Phillips, and Garrett. Dak has had more coaches and OCs than Romo, and he's still consistently in the playoffs. I ain't gonna lie to you. Parcells was good. The only reason Parcells isn't here anymore is because he probably wouldn't still be coaching now, but I'm just saying, the reason that Parcells ends up leaving is because Jerry is just so controlling. He wants to make everything a spectacle. Guys just want to get in here and make good players, pick good players and win games. Yeah, Jerry's an issue, man. I'm sorry. We gotta stop skating around that one. The whole team has to be on point. Whole team got to show up. That's a fact. Jamil Showers didn't get hurt. They moved him to defense to give Dak the 3 spot as quarterback. Dak couldn't beat him out. Well, who was the third quarterback though? Who was the second quarterback if they moved Jamil Showers? If you just said it was Romo, Jamil, and then who? I don't remember that. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't remember that. He did get hurt. They moved him due to injury when Dak lit it up. So who was the second or third quarterback outside of Jamil Showers then? Because if he's saying they moved him, then who was the third? I don't remember that many quarterbacks. Dak has never carried the team. What year? Zeke and offensive line. No, that's a fact. That year, you talking about that first 13-3 season? Yeah, Dak didn't carry the team. I can't even cap with you. He didn't play bad, but he didn't carry the team. That's a fact. It was definitely built on the back of that offensive line and Zeke. We didn't have a defense in 2016, and Zeke was drafted to suit Romo. That's a fact. That is a fact. That's the one regret that I have, because I wish, how I wish that they would have go ahead and let Romo come back. I get it. That got us to the playoffs. Bring Romo back. Let's see what he can do. I'm sorry. Yeah, that hurt me. I ain't gonna lie. I thought Romo shouldn't have retired without at least one Super Bowl win. Yeah, but he wasn't gonna get a chance to start for this team again. At that point, I think he was around his contract too. So it's like, it wasn't his contract wasn't up, but it was around contract time. So you were gonna have to figure something out. The defense on the 2016 team was terrible. Stop lying. Our defense has only played well in 2 playoff games with Dak, and both were in 2020. Defenses often come up short, for us in the playoffs. That's just a fact. Romo never had a great defense for real. Romo, we had a luck of the draw type of thing where the offense was clicking, the defense did just enough. Romo never had a great defense. Can't even argue that. Basement Boys, go research Jamil Showers was defense. I don't think he denied that. He's saying that the reason that they moved Jamil Showers to defense wasn't because he was hurt. It was because Dak ended up lighting it up. It's crazy how you can say that, but if Dak's defense gave up 40 points, it's still Dak's fault. It's crazy how you can say that, but if Dak's defense gave up 40 plus points, it's still Dak's fault. Are you saying like how they assess the blame because he lost the game ultimately and they put it a win or loss on the quarterback solely? He said the offensive line and defensive line are the key and will be the cog in this whole machine moving forward. Absolutely agree. If Romo didn't botch that snap, we would have won. I mean, for sure, that was the seal of the game. You get what I'm saying? So I get it. And that was Sean, what was that? What was his last name? Sean Alexander, too, who was the best running back to play with on Madden ever. I will be paying very close attention to what this team does in the offseason for the next 3 seasons. We can't afford to continue to take 2 steps forward, 3 steps backwards. 3 steps back that we've been doing. No team can win a championship if the quarterback doesn't do his job. 2000 Baltimore Ravens. Can I interest you in that? Whatever that year that team was, Tampa 2. Not great quarterbacks. Not great quarterbacks by far. Those teams should have won Super Bowls going away. Matter of fact, that first one, they actually did. When the Ravens actually got over the hump, they blew the team out, but it wasn't because the offense was on fire when they beat the Giants. It was that defense was just that phenomenal. So, yeah, true, but there's been some caveats to that. They both have underachieved. I think Dak can be a part of a Super Bowl team. I agree with. I mean, when we look at what Brian is doing, if it continues, when we look at what Dak is doing, if it continues, if we can make 1 or 2 plays to get some defensive players, I do see this team doing something phenomenal. Possibly. And I'm not even saying it's a Super Bowl. I just see us doing something phenomenal. I don't want to fall for the Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to drink the Kool-Aid. I'm just saying Romo is better than Dak. The standard is Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman, Danny Orful. Yeah, but didn't Danny go to all them NFC championships and fail every time? Dak fans bring up Romo to say settle for Dak. Yeah, I think the Cowboys have only had 2 phenomenal quarterbacks in their history, and that is Roger and Troy, to be honest. I don't think anybody else. And then he said Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore wasn't a good play caller. I'm sorry. Whatever he's done with the Eagles, great, but I just ain't buying it. Kellen Moore was the other QB. Okay, I can rock with that. Appreciate that, Kermit White. Yeah, none of those guys were great. If you want me to make a pick, I would say that I truly believe that Romo had the better coaching staff. Anytime you've had Bill Parcells, a former champion, I just think that was better. And he was always trying to make Romo be better. He was like, hey, stop trying to be Favre. You know? Like you're the starter, but stop trying to be Favre. You know? You could argue that Mike McCarthy was a better quarterback given that he was a Super Bowl winning champion, Super Bowl championship winning guy, but I don't think he was really great, to be honest. Do y'all really think Mike McCarthy was that great? I wasn't impressed by him. Not like that. He says it was Romo, Kellen Moore, and Showers. Dak was the odd man out until Showers' injury. Oh, Kellen Moore. I forgot that Kellen Moore. Okay. See, you talking good. You bringing me up to speed. You bringing me back here. Yeah, he wasn't that good. That's why he went into coaching so quickly. He said, "No, I didn't say he carried the team. Then it wasn't his team. It was Romo's team. 2018 to 2025, those are Dak's years he carried his team." Okay. 2016, the defense was ranked 6th in points allowed. 2016, the defense was ranked 6th in points allowed. Stop the lie. Dak didn't have a defense. I'm gonna be honest with you, bruh. I'll be honest with you. I could rock with you saying 2016 the defense was ranked 6th in points, right? That has nothing to do with them stopping the run, which the Cowboys have not been able to do in a very, very, very long time. We get trounced the way that we have because we could not stop the run in the playoffs. We couldn't stop anything, to be honest with you. Why do you think Aaron Rodgers had a field day against us with Dak Prescott? That's just facts. So defense was cool, but they weren't. It's like it's kind of like the whole mystique of the Cowboys in general. It kind of gives off fool's gold. Like it's the impression. It gives off the impression that they're better than what they were. That defense wasn't that great, man. That's just my honest opinion, man. The defense just wasn't that great. And he says, whatever you say, he said the Green Bay game. So, to your point, and can we could just hold off a second here. To your point, Romo had less picks, which was surprising to me because I don't remember his playoff, which kind of could lend to it was less his fault during that time frame, right? But what I will say is Dak has had a history in the playoffs of being the reason that we're behind and then having to fight hard to get us caught back up. He'll have the fumble, the pick six, the couple picks in the first half, and then we turn into the little engine that could to fight back. So Dak has probably, in my opinion, been more culpable for why we've lost playoff games. That's just my honest opinion. Not saying that it's all the way that, but it plays a part. Defense in 2016 was ranked 6th in points allowed. Stop the lie. Dak never has a defense. George Pickens getting re-signed. Absolutely. No. We've been talking for a while here now, but at the beginning we talked about the comments that Jerry. Here's the thing that we got to understand about Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones does not hide his hand. He is going to let you know who he's about to sign, who he's going to re-sign, what coach he's going to bring in. He's already let it be known that he is very impressed with the type of player and the teammate that George Pickens is. So it's nothing left to the imagination that George Pickens will be back. You can bet your bottom dollar on that, kinfolk. George Pickens will be back signed to this team, and Jerry has let you know that. And it's interesting because he talked about the type of teammate that he was. It just gives off the implications that Micah Parsons wasn't the best teammate, and he wasn't a real leader, a vocal leader. And some people lead by talking, some people lead by doing. If you're not going to be a vocal leader, you're going to have to be somebody who gets it done on the field on a regular basis. And just because Micah Parsons averaged 12.5 sacks a season doesn't mean he was getting it done when it mattered most. That's my argument. So then he says, what? We led the league in takeaways and sacks. We led the league in takeaways and sacks 3 years straight in the regular season. Magically, they couldn't take anything away in the playoffs those years. Factoids, thank you. That's what I'm saying right there. That's why 6th in points and all that, that's cool, bruh. If you can't produce a turnover, it was one of them years was like Trevon Diggs had 11 sacks in the regular season. Was getting turnstyled in the playoffs. I just, the defense has been a big problem for us in the playoffs. Not saying that they've been the whole thing. I think Dak and the defense have taken their time have taken turns being terrible for us in the playoffs. But, that's neither here nor there. Dak playing like a top 4 QB this year. Factoids. So, and then Dak delusional when you say, he's finally playing the way a quarterback should play. It's like, yeah, but come on, man. He's playing like a top 3. I'm gonna be honest. I don't see a quarterback playing better than Dak Prescott right now in the NFL. Please name me a quarterback playing better than Dak Prescott right now. And those were 2021, 22, and 23. They should add or draft another top tier wide receiver to put with CD Lamb and Pickens. The offense could be even better and a serious threat. I don't think we need to draft anybody else at receiver right now, to be honest. Did you see Flournoy? Did you see Flournoy? I mean, the basement brought up. We still got Mingo. He's coming back from a knee injury. We still got Jalen Tolbert. I think we're fine at receiver. I just think we got to work on this defense. If we can work on this defense, we got a shot to actually make some noise. Bro, this offense is looking real life explosive. Not like, it doesn't matter. Like, we played against a top tier defense. We played against a not so good defense. The offense is still looking the same. This is making me believe that this defense is really here to stay. I mean, this offense is really here to stay. I'm sorry. If we can make a few moves before the deadline to get a legitimate safety, defensive lineman, we gotta shore up that defense a little bit better, man. Tony Romo has never been considered for an MVP. Not realistically. Romo was in the MVP race 2014. People still say they cheated him out of it. I mean, what did we do that year? What did Romo do statistically 2014? Because I don't remember that far back. 2017, Ty Gurley, 270 plus yards with the Rams. That was pathetic, and that pissed me off so bad. I was trying to rush to get off from work, bro, to come watch that game, to watch Todd Gurley beat the living hell out of us. That pissed me off, bro. That pissed me off. Don't waste my time, bro. Yeah, man, that Todd Gurley thing, cut it out. Yeah, bro. Defense got ran over. And Dak had some turnovers in that game. I don't know if you remember the basement. Dak had some turnovers in that game. That cost us. And we had to fight back like we always do. We gotta fight uphill. I don't like it. Russ was better than Romo. Well, I agree. He won a Super Bowl. I don't care if it was because of the Legion of Boom and Marshawn Lynch. I don't give a crap. You won a Super Bowl in your rookie season. You're better than Romo. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Russ was not better than Romo. I agree with people that are saying Russ has probably played himself out of the Hall of Fame. But it's hard for me to believe that a guy that went to 2 Super Bowls, that I think he made it to another NFC championship, let Russ cook was a real thing. I'm sorry, bro. Russ was better than Romo. He wasn't like a pure pocket passer like Romo. Even though Romo was more of like a elusive guy, he turned into more of a pocket passer. We got to stop acting like Romo wasn't the first Johnny Manziel, because Romo used to run around and chunk that ball down the field with his eyes closed. Let's be real here. Romo developed over time and to be a better pocket passer. Let's never forget that. I'll agree with that. I can't argue. You don't think that Russ? So you don't think that Russ was better? I think Russ. I ain't gonna lie, man. I think Russ was probably a little bit better than Romo overall, with the run threat that he was, the timing on when he would throw the ball. He didn't cost his. Now that passing play that cost him that Super Bowl, that was all on Pete Carroll. I can't. Your quarterback is not about to change that to a run play in the Super Bowl. He is going to run the play that you tell him to run. That's just what that is. Jags just beat the Chiefs. I know. I'm super happy. I love it. I love for them Chiefs fans to eat crap. I love for Chiefs fans to eat crap. I'm just saying. But are the Jaguars for real? That's the question. He says, yes, he was. Laugh out loud. Stop it, y'all. Yeah, I agree, bro. I think you're talking about Russ was better. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. If you've been to I kind of can argue if you've been to an NFC AFC championship, you better than Romo. I'm sorry, bro. Romo was cool, bro, and it was a lot of nostalgia around Romo. He gave us a lot of hope, right? Undrafted guy, feel good story, made himself relevant, made himself a top 15, 12 quarterback in the league. But Russell Wilson was better than Romo, bro. We gotta stop it. We gotta stop the cap. Micah overrated in my opinion. Brother, you are preaching to the choir. I'm not mad at your take at all. Romo was okay, bro. I mean, not Romo. Micah's a flash in the pan guy. He's a lot of flashes of, he got some strength on him. Oh, he's got speed on him. But he's not your guy though. He's not better than JJ Watt. Please put him in chat and tell me if you really think that Michael Parsons is better than TJ Watt. He's not better than TJ Watt. He's not better than Max Crosby. He's not better than Chris Jones. He's not better than a lot of these guys. So if you think that Michael Parsons was better than those guys, you smoking dope. So lay off the weed. 11 picks. Trevon Diggs, 11 picks in the season. Is that what you're speaking to? Trevon Diggs had 11 picks. I think he tied Everson Wall's record that year. Went to the playoffs, getting mollywopped. Deron Bland, 6 pick sixes in a season. Goes to the playoffs, gets mollywopped. I'm just saying, bro, the defense has had the greatest issues with showing up consistently in the playoffs. Apologies for the late check-in, nephew. Wait, I thought you was already in here now. It's all good, though, auntie. I love you for sure. Thank you for checking back in. Let's see. He said, casual fans look at the Rams game stats, of course. Rams ran the ball. They were 3 scores up, and Dak was going 3 and out. Defense was on the field all game. That's true. But correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Dak have turnovers in that game? There's no way Dak didn't have no turnovers in that game. But to your point though, like I just said, the defense has been the least contributor to our success in the playoffs, even more than Romo or Dak. The defense has spit the bit far too often for the Cowboys in the playoffs. I'm done now. I made my point. Good being on with you, bro. I've subscribed. Hope you do the same. The Basement Boys podcast. I'm going to check you out, bro. I want to say I've seen y'all stuff before, but I'll definitely subscribe, bro. And maybe we could do a collab at some point. It's all love for sure. I cannot say what that name is. Wario who 444. Defense wins championships. Offense wins games. Absolutely. Stafford, Mayfield, Goff is playing better than Dak. Y'all so used to Dak mediocre play. He do his job. Y'all think it's elite, amazing. His great game is Stafford normal game. Is Dak best game. Here's my issue with you, Dak Delusion. Here's my issue. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm very hard on Dak. But I'll never not be hopeful that Dak will figure it out as long as he's the quarterback of the Cowboys, because that's what we should want, right? If they're not going to get rid of him and they're going to pay him, if they're going to extend him, we should want him to figure it out. My issue with you, man, is you take too kindly to hating on him, though. I've been here to tell you that Dak he spit the bit way more times than Romo has in the playoffs. My reality, though, is that Romo, although he had little pockets of success that were cool, we've never seen sustainable success like we've seen with Rayne Dakota Prescott. That's just a fact. I'm sorry. That's just a fact, bro. You don't have to like it, but it's the truth. Dak turnovers always come early in games, not when the game was on the line. Still creates a problem for us, though, when now we have to depend on him to lead us back When if he would have just did one or two less turnovers early, now we actually have a chance to get back in the game quicker or establish ourselves and be dominant. We've always had to pretty much fight back in most of the games because Dak has turnovers early in the game. That's my issue. Tired ass Cowboy fan said, Dak delusional, you're lying. Why is that so funny to me, dog? He said you're lying. Flat out, bruh, you're lying. Why do you say you lying, dog? And then he said Russ will be Hall of Famer. I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of hope that he does because I think that he did enough with winning the Super Bowl, being in the Super Bowl. I think he went to another NFC championship, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like he went to another NFC championship, and he was one of the number one reasons why the Seattle Seahawks stayed relevant for so long as the Legion of Boom started breaking down. Because you got to remember, Cam Chancellor got injured pretty early in that run and wasn't really there as much. Brandon Browning, which was the other cornerback for the Legion of Boom, he kind of disappeared. Richard Sherman was really the only one left. And then Earl was there. He ended up leaving and going to Baltimore. He had all that stuff going on with his wife and all that stuff. But, hey, ain't none of our business. And then, you had the linebacking core, which was Averill. Who's that other guy that's still playing? I mean, that defense was a monster, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. That defense was a true monster. Then he said, tired of that Cowboy, what is a lie? And then the basement boy said, just say it, Dak delusional. You're a hater. You don't like that Dak is doing better than Tony Romo ever has. Laugh out loud. It's cool. When Dak wins a chip after crushing Tony Romo's records, Tony's records, you can stay up. You can stay up all night. And hopefully you celebrate that. You get what I'm saying? It do sound like you do hate Dak a little too much. And this is coming from a guy who is not a Dak Prescott fan by and large. I'm just looking at a game like that Green Bay game and saying, other quarterbacks would have gave that game away. Other quarterbacks would have thrown an interception in that game to cost us. Dang it, I keep mixing these names up. Dak found a way to make it happen, and I just can't be mad or hate on him for it. You know what I'm saying? He seems to have figured it out a little bit. Okay, he said, dang, how'd I do that? He said, okay, if been to an NFC AFC championship, can we agree Jaden and Hurts, Purdy, Garoppolo better than Dak? All right, chat. What do we think about this? Now, I don't like that you're continuing. Now, you sound like me a few years ago. I ain't gonna lie. You sound like me up until this year, to be honest. Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo, all better than Dak. Jaden Daniels, I gotta say yes. Jalen Hurts, I gotta say yes. I'm sorry. Brock Purdy, I gotta say yes. Jimmy Garoppolo, no. Jimmy Garoppolo is not better than Dak. I don't care if he's been to a Super Bowl or a championship. I can't do it. I never seen a quarterback cost a team more in going to a Super Bowl than Jimmy Garoppolo. That team was stacked and phenomenal. But I gotta say all the other quarterbacks were better than Dak, man. And that's just me being honest. He said, the last thing you said was a straight lie. There's not 3 quarterbacks playing better than Dak right now by any statistical category. That's a fact. We just read stats earlier that say Dak is top 3 in all major quarterback rating, QBR, passing yards, and touchdowns. He's top 3. Number 2 in passing yards, and he's top 3 in QBR and touchdowns. So, hey, you kind of right there. He said Micah Parsons is in edge rusher. He is. I think. I'm sorry. I think there's a typo. Micah Parsons is an edge rusher. Edge. Dang it. Micah Parsons is an edge rusher. Those guys aren't defensive ends. There's a difference. You're right. You're right. But my point is, we don't pay edge rushers that can't stop the run because they're not defensive ends. We don't pay them to be the highest non-quarterback players in the NFL. We just don't do it, regardless of what they do. Diggs ain't ready yet. Diggs ain't ready, period. I don't think Diggs is the guy. I think we caught lightning in a bottle with that play he had. I don't see him getting back there, and that's no hate. I just don't see it. Bland has been a disappointment so far this season. He's been a disappointment in the playoffs as well. He was getting roasted in the playoffs, and I'm talking really bad. I'm talking Honey Nut Cheerio. You know what I'm saying? Didn't they have a guy named Aaron Donald? Touche. Touche. In no world has Jimmy Garoppolo ever been a better QB than Dak. I agree. I'm sorry. His team beat that team. I'm not giving it to him. I'm sorry. But Brock Purdy, I'm sorry. I can't argue with you. Stafford is playing better than Dak. Okay. He said, I thought I was leaving, but this guy keeps speaking heresy. This guy keeps speaking heresy. You don't know how funny that is. Dak has a higher completion percentage and a higher QBR than Stafford and more yards and one more TD. Yeah, sounds super casual right now. Ooh, y'all talking spicy right now. Here's what I don't like about this overall is that we all Cowboys fans, dog. Why are we arguing about this? I think we should be real. Let me be clear. I think we should be real. But Dak Delusional, your name is Dak Delusional Fans with More Excuses. That's your handle, my guy. You just don't like Dak Prescott. When someone calls you a hater in a debate, it often means they're avoiding dealing with the facts you presented. What say you? You're not presenting facts. You're presenting feelings. Stafford has more yards and touchdowns and a better passer rating. All right, who lying now? Somebody lying. Hold on. Hey, Siri. Who has better passing yards, touchdowns, and QBR between Dak Prescott and Matthew Stafford this year? Yes, I want to use ChatGPT. Wasting my time here. We finna let ChatGPT. Dak Prescott leads Matthew Stafford in passing yards and touchdowns. Prescott has thrown for 1,300 yards and 14 touchdowns, while Matthew Stafford has 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. Prescott's passer rating is 101 and Stafford's is 98.3. So according to this, Dak Prescott is leading Matthew Stafford in all statistical categories. You know what I'm saying? For the years they went, sure, if you really feel that strong about it, but if we are talking body of work, then hell the F no. Jalen Squirts. Why you call it, man, Jalen Squirts, dog? Why you do that? Jalen Squirts can't throw over 150 yards. Jaden Daniels looks good, but he just getting here, so body of work, hell no. I agree with you. I want defensive ends, not just pass rushers. Absolutely, man. They gotta have that sumo bottom to them so they drop that button, stop the run, dog. Otherwise, bro, they get ran over and we just losing in the playoffs. Passer rating, the most important quarterback stat. Dak is not top 3. Chat GPT just said that Dak's passer rating is 101.1 and that Matthew Stafford's is 89. I'm just telling you what Chat GPT says. Now, if you're saying that Chat GPT doesn't know like you know, I'm not going to argue with you. I ain't going to argue with you. You mad. You big mad. Then Dak is top 2 by that metric. Dak is top 2. I just said he top 3 for sure. I say no quarterbacks are not better than Dak. I say no, those quarterbacks are not better than Dak. It's the circumstances of every QB. All of those QBs have more help, has more help than Dak. You got to look at the whole picture. That's a good point as well. The Basement Boys. Jalen a few weeks ago just won by passing. Why are you so down on Dak, bro? God dang, bro. We actually look decent, man. I don't got no problem with not liking any player, but don't get to just saying BS. Dak is number 2 in QBR, 7th in QB passer rating, 3rd in completions, 2nd in touchdowns. Tell the whole story. Yeah. Tell the whole story. And 2nd in touchdown passes. That let me see. Sorry. It says that's my handle because I was blocked on more channels with my cowboy name by Dak moderators. Dang, what was your name? I ain't gonna block you. I just want you to realize that it's almost like you going in rooting for Dak to go bad the way you seem to like dislike him. I ain't never wanted him to do bad. I just don't want him to spit the bit when it matters most. But I'm interested now to see what your what your name was. Boys blocking you is crazy, bro. I ain't blocking nobody. Well, you got to say something about me personally for me to block you. ESPN got it different. Matt Stafford has 1,500 yards. Dak has 13. Okay. Respect. Okay, respect. So, all right, ChatGPT be out here lying. Okay. Dak is 7th in passer rating. QBR, Dak is 2nd. Okay. Okay. Respect. Yeah, man. Y'all boys tuning in so you don't get these sports, bro, man. We've been going back and forth in this chat, man. Overall, I've not heard nobody say that Jerry is the problem. That's the most interesting part of this. But we got two of the fellas, man, in the chat, man, that are going back and forth about Dak versus Romo and all those things, man. If y'all do me a favor, anybody tuning in, please hit the like and please chime in on this conversation. Do you believe that Jerry Jones is the greatest contributor to the failure rather than the success of the Cowboys over the last 30 years, as well as who's better, Romo or Dak? Romo or Dak? Like, I think Romo probably more of a nostalgia piece than a reality of being a better quarterback at this point. I think Dak has did a great job of figuring it out. I think that Romo probably had to do more with less because I do believe that Dak has had more loaded offenses. But what say you in the chat? And it says, and Dak is 3rd in TDs according to ESPN. Yeah, I think I had that he was 2nd, but respect. I mean, I don't know if anything changed for tonight either. Stafford has 1,503 yards, 11 touchdowns, 107.3. Dak 1,356, 101 passer rating. No, 10 is, I guess that's 10 touchdowns and a 101 QBR. All right. Golf with 12, Stafford 11, Dak with 10 TDs, but he does have a rushing TD, so 11 altogether. That's what I'm saying. Some of these stats could be a little convoluted or whatever, depending on the source. ChatGPT, ain't no telling. But overall, I will say this. There's no denying that whether you're talking about Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, I mean, Dak Prescott deserves to be right there in that conversation. You just named it off. But yes, if Jerry got his head out of his butt, we would have been one, but it is what it is. We've had some offenses that were formidable. To be able to pair it with a good defense would have been nice for once. But I think that Jerry just has a way that he wants to do things that doesn't always equal the success of the Cowboys. At the end of the day, if Patrick Creighton and Miles Austin were two of the better receivers that we had at that time, that's what we had to work with. And so I think that Dak, just like Romo, has done the best with what he had. But I'm one, and tell me what y'all think about this. I'm not one that is here to say that I've always believed that the Cowboys were the most talented, even on paper. I think a lot of that stuff is overdone because there's, once again, a nostalgia based off of who we've known the Cowboys to be, that we believe that the Cowboys were always so super loaded and so phenomenal. And I don't buy it. I don't believe that we were always as talented as it said. That's why some of those defenses, when you look at somebody like a Trevon Diggs who had 11 picks in a season, got to the playoffs, got roasted. Deron Bland, 6 pick sixes in a season, get to the playoffs, turnstile. Even our offensive line for a few of those years, the Travis Fredericks offenses, where we would beat up on everybody. But then when it got to the playoffs and we played against a team like the Eagles, we would get dominated. On the offensive line, they would dominate us. So it's just a lot of stuff over time, man, that we got to watch and pay attention to. And that's why I say pump our brakes. Let's not get over our heads. I think that we got to live somewhere in a healthy middle, right? I don't think we should be planning parades in downtown Dallas, but I don't think we should take the Dak delusional approach and just say, well, yeah, Dak, what have you done for us lately? I don't know. He's looking real good right now, though. I just say that. I'll take that, and let's just keep coupling wins together, coupling success together. Let's get CD back. I don't think anybody expected us to win that game, to be up by 30 against any team. I didn't even realize that we were missing 4 out of 5 linemen. And then you mix in missing CD Lamb. That's impressive, man. I'm sorry. This is the NFL, and parity is alive and well. So we see bad teams beat good teams, and we see phenomenal teams lose to bad teams all the time. So back to the chat we go. Romo only had one defense top 10 in points. Romo only had one defense top in 10 in points allowed. He has done more with less. I just said that. I literally just said that. So you're not wrong there. I believe that. These stats can say what they want. The eye this season saying Dak playing MVP level QB. That's a fact, my boy. That's a fact. And we've seen this before. We've not seen Romo put together MVP looking seasons too often, even with him doing more with less. You got to admit that. He said, and the defense is ranked 32nd in most metrics, but we continue to put average over 30 points a game. If that ain't the defense, who is it? I guess CD and GP and George Pickens throwing each other the ball. Well, you be talking noise, dog. You funny to me. Yeah, man. I'm going to check y'all out. I guess Javonte Williams is taking direct snaps then, right? Are you playing the Wildcat? Last game, we had a 4 starting linemen, O-linemen out, no CD, and Turpin, but still put up 37. That is impressive. That's what I've been saying. Question, honest answer. With Romo, when they were underdogs, he gave you hope and beat teams with Dak as underdogs. Do he give you hope and get those wins? All right, y'all. We can kind of slow down and make sure this spelling is correct, because I don't want to be on here sound like I can't read. Okay, that's my only caveat. Y'all keep it up, but I'm just saying. He said, and then he said, yes, he does. 2 games showed me. Yes, he does. 2 games showed me. What are those 2 games? They see he'd be waiting for you to. Wait, what are you talking about? Tell me the 2 games. You got to line it up for the basement boys. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. I definitely believe Romo did the most with with the least. Whether that was, man, you got to think. Romo played with that one defense that gave up like 40 first downs to the Saints. That's pretty terrible. I think that was Romo. I believe that was Romo, right? With Sean Payton. Yeah, Romo put us in position to win a lot where the defense let us down, but then Romo gave away a lot of games with picks often. So we got to be honest about that too. The Eagles and the Packers. I agree. Those games impressed me the most about Dak Prescott. 2025. I agree. 2 games that impressed me the most are those 2 games. I'm telling y'all, that Packers game, there was a world where I could see us losing very badly because Dak would throw away 2 of those balls to the other team. Period. We got Terrence Cochran says, Dak is clearly playing lights out. This team is different. Very, very impressive the way Dak is playing with so many starters out. Straight balling. Not to mention how terrible the defense has been. So you're absolutely correct, but this team is different. What do you mean by this team is different? Because I could argue that this looks like any team that we've had in the past where the offense was impressive and the defense was lackluster. That's my response. So in what way are you saying that this team is different? Because, man, we be so ready to put them boys in the Super Bowl, dog, and they just have to prove it to us. Prove it to us that this is a different team by being consistent and by winning over time. Javonte, keep running that peel. CD, come back and stop dropping so many balls. He said, see, that's my problem with Dak fans. They give him credit for the backup offensive line playing well. Has that Dak? It's always all Dak in a win. Then in a loss, it's a team game. Wrong. You're wrong. And I keep telling you that. That's what displays how much you actually don't like Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott don't really get that love like that, bro. Somebody please tell this man. Dak Prescott is one of the most hated players in the NFL. People do not like Dak Prescott, bro. They talk about how he has a claim and a name that he hasn't worked for. That is a fact, bro. Dak Prescott is not popular like that. He's the quarterback of America's team, yes. But people don't show him love like you're making it seem. Dak Prescott has been carrying his team. Bro, you could, depending on where you work at, you could lose 3 or 4 of the key components of the people at your job and not perform as well as Dak just did in his last game. That matters, bro. For you to go down your top receiver, for you to have backup linemen in the league. We've seen starting linemen get turned like turnstiles, bro. To go down 4 linemen, that is people who are directly responsible for protecting the quarterback. He made it look like nobody was out. That is impressive, bro. You got to stop doing that. That is just hate. I'm sorry. For a football guru, you must watch film. Dak moves the pocket and gets the ball to his targets quickly. Yes, and that is a skill. He said, yeah, I'm done talking to Buddy. Hey, man, also, by the way, man, that I got your attention, man. Please make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you have not, man, and please hit the like, man. I appreciate you. Man, stuff like this do make people upset. I'm not going to lie. He said, yeah, I'm done talking to Buddy. He said, now it's a team game when it's about what he does well, laugh out loud. Yeah, it's starting to sound a little topsy-turvy here. He said, this man just gave Dak credit for the offensive line playing well. Scroll up. Yes, I did. If a QB can move the pocket and help his O-line by getting the ball out quickly and accurately to his target. That's a good point now. That's a good point. You make it easier on yourself, your offensive line, and that's a credit to Brian Schottenheimer for understanding the deficiencies and being able to placate to that. That matters. We gotta get credit what credit is due, dog. You got to. Come on, Dak Delusional. You got to. That line played well. How did Dak block that defensive lineman? Bro, why is it so much hate though? I guess that's my question. Can somebody why is it so much hate? Like that I think why is it so much hate, dog? And I got y'all. Hold on one second. I'm coming back to the chat. I'm just about to show these people on Instagram how we popping out tonight. Real quick. Y'all give me some y'all be patient with me now. Y'all be patient with me. Just taking a picture. All right. So he said that line played well. How did Dak block that defensive line? Terrence said, I see a different mentality under the current circumstances with all of the starters out. They are actually getting better game by game. Game adjustments are a lot better, not delusional. Okay. I can respect that. Long as you got some type of real outlook and it ain't just like, oh man, I just feel it. Like people be saying that. Oh, I feel it, man. It's our year. I'm like, hey, bro, them feelings gonna get you in trouble. How is Dak able to throw 10 TDs with a bad O line? Now you see why I go at little buddy. He called him little buddy. So here's the thing. If I'm being honest, the basement, like I'm gonna call you DBB. I gotta be honest with you. I have been this guy to a certain extent because I've been that frustrated with Dak Prescott at times. The difference is I had to realize that number one is just a game. I'm a fan, but it's just a game. I ain't finna get my blood pressure up over this now. That's so there's that. Number two, though, I believe that when people show you something different, you gotta watch them, but I gotta give you the opportunity. I personally walked away from that Green Bay game saying, in the past, last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, doesn't matter. Dak Prescott would have found a way to lose that game. Period. That was my assessment. Dak Prescott was going to find a way to lose that game. And he didn't find a way to lose that game. And so I got to give him credit for that. Me personally, I got to give Dak Prescott credit for not pissing that game away. Didn't want the tie. Actually hated that goal line, that how we got the ball and drove down there and didn't turn it into 7. I hated that most. I hated it. I'm like, bro, this is how we lose. Get 7 points. Find a way to get across that end zone. Get across that goal line. And when we didn't, I thought that was the doom. I thought that was going to doom us. But the defense stepped up, even though they gave up 40, and they found a way to hold them. So, hey, man, when it gets to the playoffs, man, you're not looking for the 99 2000 Ravens defense. You're just looking for somebody that can get a key stop when it matters most. The reason they hate Dak is because he played for the most hated team. He plays for the most hated team in the NFL. If he played for any other team, he'd be getting more props. Or he'd just be a regular guy. I don't even know if he get more props. He might just be a regular guy, to be honest. You got to see the bigger picture. Just like the defense as a whole needs to be better, just like the offense as a whole needs to be better. But what's better than 40 points a game? Holding the team to 39. If we gonna score 40, let's just hold them to 39. And I will be a happy camper. So to your point, you're absolutely correct. I don't. Dak Prescott he's impressing me, and that's saying a lot for a guy for that didn't have no respect for Dakota Prescott. Get me 1 or 2 stops. That's all I need. If the offense is going to play up, you're absolutely correct. I will take all day of the week. Give me an offense that can score points and a defense that can give me 1 or 2 stops. That's all we need. So you're right. Y'all don't realize we don't need a top 5 defense when you got a top 3 offense, let alone the number 1. If we can be middle of the pack defense, we'd easily be 4-1 right now. See, you weren't watching earlier. I said that. I said I can argue. I promise you, if you go back and watch from the beginning, I said I can argue that if we stop Jalen Hurts from getting just one of those rushing touchdowns, let alone 2, that I could argue that the Cowboys are supposed to be 4-1 right now. But at the same token, I could argue that, hey, why in the world are we going down to the wire? Why in the world are we going down to the wire with the New York Giants? That should never happen. We are far and above a better team than those guys. Period. So that was my argument. We could easily be 4-1, but I could if we keeping it a beam, we could actually be 1-3-1. Because the Giants, we had to pull off a lot of theatrics to get a W in that game. Now I want the W's. A win is a win is a win. But sheesh, man, come on. So you're right. You're right, my guy. Facts. Yeah, bro. I mean, man, the true fans know how to look at this game for what it is, man, and say, hey, we got to tighten this up. We shouldn't give up 30-something points to the freaking Russell Wilson-led Giants, bro. They don't even have an explosive offense. Russell Wilson ain't did that in years. Don't let them turn back the if I turn back the hands of time. Let's not let Russ do that. CD catches a ball, or if Miles Sanders doesn't fumble, yeah. And that's the tough part too, though, because if we start doing ifs, y'all know how them ifs go, dog. If ifs was a fifth, we all be drunk. We all be drunkards. He said, hey, I gave Dak his credit. I said he is playing very well. You did say that, but you said he doing what he supposed to do. If I'm being honest, Dak Delusional, you said he doing what he supposed to do. But he said, hey, I gave Dak his credit. I said he is playing very well, doing the things he is expected to do. But these Dak fans don't want me to give an offensive line or Javonte Williams credit. Man, no, and I think that level of realism is necessary. Don't get me wrong. I think your level of realism is necessary. It just starts sounding like you don't want him to do well because it's not Dak Prescott fans. These are still Cowboys fans, but they want to show Dak love. And that's my thing. I'm like, you can't separate them. You can't say, yeah, I love the Cowboys, but I can't stand Dak fan. It's like, come on, man. You can't do that, bro. So that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, man. All right, so these comments going crazy. Hey, I gave Dak credit. He said, and who got us the W in that Giants game? Who did? It wasn't the defense. He said, peaking too early is not always good. This team will peak at the right time this year, hopefully. With a handful of starters coming off injury, this should be pretty interesting. So here's my disagreements with that, right? And we're gonna get to the basement's comment. I would argue that scoring 40 points a week is not realistic, even at the clip that we're doing it. So I could argue that we are peaking too soon. Now, if the defense is gonna help us out, give or take 8 to 10 points based off of fluky plays and stuff like that. So meaning that we go from scoring 40 to possibly 30 to 32, I'm with you on that. If we can maintain that, I'm good. Dak is playing well because of Javonte Williams. Look at the metrics. Dak is a surgical QB, and with a running back and a play action game. Definitely looking surgical. Not gonna lie. Nobody said don't give Javonte Williams or the O-line credit because they definitely deserve it. You just don't gotta take a dump on Dak in the process. That's your problem. I agree. That's what I'm saying here. Let me be very clear. We say it's almost like being in a okay, let me say it to you like this. And I know the fellas the fellas will agree with me. It's like being in a relationship, right? And you buy a woman flowers, you keep gas in her car, You get our car washed on a regular basis. You help with the dishes. You help with cooking. Is that the expectation of being in a healthy relationship, or should that person show appreciation for doing the things that you're supposed to do in a relationship? That's how we should look at Dak Prescott actually executing on a high level, because it's not a lot of QBs who are actually doing that and it's leading to wins. Have we seen what's happening in San Diego? Have we seen what's happening with Justin Herbert? He started off very, very strong. Beat Patrick Mahomes. Can we even give him that full credit, given the way that the Kansas City Chiefs are actually looking? So it's because you're anointed a certain thing or given a certain title, doesn't you have to live up to that? So if Dak Prescott is playing out of his mind, let's give him credit for it. That's all. And so the Basement Boys said, or DBB, my bad. That's what I said I was gonna call you. Abbreviations. That's when you know when you lost the debate, you start conceding small points and insults. Laugh out loud. I can't stand you, bro. Yeah, you funny, bro. Nah, man. But overall, though, I will say I do think that that's a good point. That's a good point, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need them to play. We don't need a top overall defense. We just need you to play well in spots. Get teams out the field on 3rd and long, 3rd and medium, even. Don't let them convert 4th downs. It would be nice if I'm appreciated for what I do. I'm not asking for a red carpet entrance. Exactly. Can you just show me some appreciation, baby? Hey, that's all. That's all. So he said, let me make sure I'm caught up on the points. 100. That's it, man. So at the end of the day, it's like, listen, man. Cowboy fans, let's be hopeful and appreciative of what we are actually watching, because we didn't expect for it to be this way. I'll be honest. Early on, I could have seen us probably winning a few games and not being competitive in the other ones. But somehow, these guys have found a way to be competitive, and Dak has shown a way to take his game to the next level. And that should be appreciated, because there are a lot of quarterbacks who are in quarterback hell, and they are not helping their teams. I haven't took a dump on Dak this season yet. I just pointed out Dak is not playing better than every other quarterback. Heck, I'm a Cowboys fan. I want Dak to play well. It helps us win. Well, brother, I think it would have helped us a lot if you would have just said that from the beginning. Because it do. Now, mind you, what I'm hoping, even on, and let me just say this to y'all really quickly. Stay with me here. This is a network. This is the Mind of a Man network. There are multiple shows that I do here. Sports is just one of the shows. But my point is, I'm always aiming not just to talk stats and facts, but for people to be able to get their points out and see from a different point of view. And so I have no problem with Dak delusional feeling the way he feels, as long as we can come to an understanding on what the greater goal is here, or what the common enemy, who the common enemy actually is. And I don't think it's Dak. I think overall we give Jerry a lot of credit for things that he doesn't deserve. And I think that he's played a greater role in the demise of the Cowboys than any player that we've ever put out on the field, especially considering that he's the guy who has been responsible for buying the groceries, period. Terrence Cochran said, scheme is everything. In this league, you can have the players, but the scheme has to be on point. Looking good so far. That is true as well. When you look at a Daniel Jones, when you look at a Sam Darnold, when you look at a Carson Wentz even, scheme matters. You got to be able to put these guys in a position to succeed, and it appears that Brian Schottenheimer might be the steal of the century. If he can find a way to keep this offense relevant and booming with Dak Prescott, keeping his confidence high, there's no telling what we could do. Period. He said the insinuation of the fact that he will take a dump on Dak. See what I mean? Laugh out loud. Boy, hey, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you though. You short, boy. You don't be missing much. He's saying there's always got to be some type of hate, like, attached to it. But I think that was also the fact that he was saying, I think it was Todd, a Cowboy fan, had said, like, he tired of, basically, you don't got to take a dump on Dak to, you know what I'm saying? You could give credit to the Cowboys and not take a dump on Dak at the same time. But yeah, it's definitely Jerry Jones, man. He gotta do something else, bro. Indiana, Danny Jones balling in Indy. That's a fact. Bro, now you talk about a surprise. Forget Dak. Danny Dimes living up to that name. Indy looking like a true contender. So, that also makes me think too, like, okay, so are we saying that Peyton Manning then was right when they said he was the guy? And was it just that much of a crap hole in New York? Sam Darnold, where did he start at? Jets. Left there, meandered around a little bit, found his footing. Hey, man, Seattle looking like a real contender. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. He said, I was super surprised. Bro, Sam Darnold, freaking Daniel Jones, Carson Wentz looked terrible in Washington. I don't know if my boy Bruce is still on. He probably sleep because I think he like 2 hours ahead, so it's probably 1 o'clock where he at. But bro, do y'all not remember? Do y'all not remember what Carson Wentz looked like in Washington? They made him the guy. Terrible, horrible quarterback play. But that was the last little bit before they made the changes. So I'm just saying. It was New York, man. New York. And here's the thing. And for the true Cowboy fans, we know Eli Manning ain't no Hall of Famer. I don't care if he's a Hall of Famer. Trent Dilfer's a Hall of Famer, and Trent Dilfer ain't no Hall of Famer. I don't care. You got lucky, and that's cool. You had one helmet catch. You had you had a great defensive line that clicked at the right time. Eli Manning is not a Hall of Famer. Other than that, that place has been decrepit for 40 years. Stop playing with me. He said it's either New York or the players. Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, all left. Saquon went and got a championship. It's the situation. The quarterbacks are out, and Danny was always good. I ain't see nothing spectacular from his film in college. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't see nothing spectacular at Duke. But, I mean, I'll take your word for it. You know what I'm saying? He said, my point exactly. Danny Dimes equals great scheme. Now he's looking better than ever. That's a fact. Still crappy in Minnesota, too. It's the situation. The quarterbacks are put in. Danny was always good. I don't know about that, dog. I mean, hi. Did you see some of those pick sixes and stuff he had? Like, bro, I mean, maybe you're right. I mean, we look at what he's doing now. Maybe you're right. You know what I'm saying? He said, bro, what they did to Eli made the football guys cast them in despair. Yeah. See, I can rock with that. I can rock with that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's cap, bro. I mean, you kicked and screamed to not go to San Diego and then to actually go to New York. And then you have a rather mediocre career. You lead the league in interceptions multiple times. But you have 2 Super Bowl runs. I ain't mad, bro, but it's just like, stop telling me that this is what a Hall of Famer is, bro. Does he have more touchdown passes than interceptions, really? Like, come on, bro. We got to stop the cap. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Hey, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. 20 people in the chat. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, man. We got 14 likes for sure. Appreciate y'all, man, for tuning in. I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. I gotta go to work in the morning. Hey, but the Basement Boys, I am gonna follow y'all for sure, man. And like I said, man, hopefully we can do a collab or something one time. I got other shows coming out this week. But every Monday, y'all can see me talking Cowboys, talking sports in the DFW, talking. I talked Sheduer earlier on, talked Jerry Jones with the flick off that he did, flipping people off at the stadium, man. Here, man, we talk sports. It's the most biased, non-biased show that you could ever watch, man. I appreciate all y'all for tuning in, man. If y'all don't have anything else to add to the chat, man, it's much love and respect, my boy, the basement. If y'all don't have anything else, I look forward to seeing you guys watching another show from the network this week, as well as I am gonna start live streaming Cowboy games. Maybe that's where we can actually do a little collab too. I live streamed the game and it was lit. It was actually the first game of the season. It was fun. So I look forward to doing that again. Man, y'all just tap in with the kid, man. I appreciate you guys, man. As I end every show, life is hard enough, so don't just live elevated. Until next time, my boy's still going. He said, I was at the game. I saw it in person. Funny as hell. Hey, bro, that game was interesting. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I enjoyed it. Man. The live stream was lit. You know what I'm saying? The live stream was lit, man. I look forward to doing more. But man, I don't want to belabor the point, man. I appreciate y'all for having integrity and tapping in with the kid, man. All the 18 people who've been rocking the 20. We are getting off of here, man, but just hit the like, subscribe, man, and tell a friend to tap in with the Mind of a Man network. My boy Terrence Cochran said, great show. Looking forward to chatting it up again next time. Take care. I appreciate you, my brother. He said I was at the game. Funny as hell, man. Appreciate it. All right, man. I'm finna get out of here, man. Go get me some sleep, man. I will be back with another few shows this week. We cleared that stadium out by the third quarter. Oh, you talking about the Jets game? Be easy, my guy. Yeah. Oh, you talking about the Jets game? When you talking about y'all cleared the stadium out by the third quarter? Cause y'all traveling, boy. Y'all doing y'all thing, boy. I ain't even mad at that. I want to go to a game or two this year. I want to go to a Commanders game. I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to my boy Bruce Glass, man. He a Commanders fan, but he tap in with all the content. Man, yeah, man. Y'all boys be like, man. Until next time, I love you, may the Lord. I love you, may the Lord keep you, man. I'll see you on the next show. Peace. Y'all been dope.